originate from over here, and I don't want us to have problems.
Gotcha.
When we know yours works perfectly, so I'd rather go from there.
On-air production, ladies and gentlemen. On-air production. We're good. We're set up. The stream is live. Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate.
Not quite a year yet, and you just can't get the cues.
I'll figure it out eventually.
Okay, all right.
I'll figure it out eventually. Sorry, I was busy watching the Ryder Cup.
So when I point here, that's StreamYard. When I point there, that's look at the TV.
In fairness, I'm looking side profile of this monitor.
Yeah, I know.
Right past
but there's one thing on that, and it's StreamYard. So all right,
that's true. Okay,
but StreamYard, if you go to ESPN Upstate or where else?
Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, Twitter.com/ESPN Upstate, or YouTube. Search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. In fact, if you are utilizing a smart television in your office or your house or your waiting room or your living room or wherever.
Rob's not wearing a hat today.
No, Rob brought the hat. So
weird.
here's the thing. You ready for the dumbest thing I've said on radio today? It's early in the show. I get a haircut. I get a haircut today when I get off the air, right? I got to go get cleaned up for the Boston trip. Then I'm running over to Fluor Field to play golf with First Tee Upstate. Then I've got a private tour scheduled for the Shoeless Joe Jackson Memorial after that. So big day. But this hat is.
Hey man, do you ever slow down and take a?
Why would I do that?
Tommy,
I'm gonna die soon, Lonzo. I might as well enjoy.
Well, don't say that. I mean, you're not that old.
I don't mean like next week.
Okay.
I mean in general.
All right.
So. Yeah, that being said, the hat's too small when my hair is full and luscious.
Mohawk?
Yeah, man, that's what I was thinking.
Straight up Mohawk.
Diet red.
All right, you got to. If you're going to go Mohawk, you got to go red.
We're going to be busy on the broadcast today. Ryder Cup underway. The Americans have taken a point. The Europeans have taken a point. Remember, the race is the first to 14.5 points. 14.5 points is what you need to win this thing. The Americans did take the early point. The Europeans have gotten one back as Jon Rahm and Sergio Garcia were able to put away Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas. So they are done. 1-1 is your score. But of the early four, there are two groups still out on the course, and the Americans lead both of those right now. So if they can finish off the two groupings that are on the Whistling Straits course right now, that will be 3-1 opening for the Americans, which would be an incredible start.
Wait. You said we didn't have a shot at this.
I didn't say I'm blown away.
Yeah, I mean,
now,
I feel like I got misinformation or something.
Keep in mind, over the course of 3 days, there are 28 points available. All right, 28 points available. We have taken 3 of the first 4. There's a lot of golf left. But very impressed with the Americans so far. Although, as it stands right now, Brooks Koepka and Daniel Berger, they are 2 up through 16. So there's 3 to play, including the 16 they're on now. And the drives have gotten a little shaky as of late. So nothing is guaranteed, but if the Americans can take 3 out of 4 points early, that would be an incredible jump start to the Ryder Cup. Give them a little bit of breathing room, but again, I don't want to go too crazy.
It's pretty windy out there.
Whistling Straits is very windy. It comes right off the lake right there. It can get a little dicey on you. Coming up at 12:30 in just about 20 minutes, Savannah Lee from Pro Golf Now is going to join us on the show. She is going to give us a full breakdown of this Ryder Cup. We've got 4 ball this morning. And then later on this afternoon, we've got 4 best balls, right? So in the morning session, every golfer plays. So Lonzo would hit a shot. I would hit a shot. We would play our shots, and the lower of our 2 scores would count for the hole. This afternoon, they play alternate shelf golf, which means on hole number 1, Lonzo tees off, then I hit the next shot, then Lonzo, then me. And then on hole number 2, then Lonzo would tee off, then I would hit the second shot, Lonzo the third, and you alternate players driving. So Lonzo would tee off on the odd numbers, Rob would tee off on the even numbers, and then you alternate shots throughout the course of a hole as you go. That is the format for today. 4 in the morning, that is 4 ball. 4 in the afternoon, that's alternating shots. Then tomorrow, we will play the same format. 4 points in the morning available via 4 ball means everybody plays their own golf balls. and the lower of the two partners' score is tabulated and counted. In the afternoon, alternating shots. So one tees off, the other plays a second shot, and they alternate tee shots for all 18. Then then on Sunday, for the final day of the Ryder Cup, 12 singles pairings. So one guy goes out, one European, one American go out. They play each other. Whoever wins the day wins the point for their team. There are ties in this. So if the Americans and the Europeans were to finish a set, whether it is the morning, get in the hole, God damn it. Whether it is the, I can't say the D word.
No. It sounded like you said something else. I get you didn't.
Oh, I was going to say.
I get you
I'm a
did.
broadcast professional.
Yeah, you stumbled a little bit in the front, and the Bell's palsy was still hanging on. If there's a hint of a possibility of someone thinking you said something, I just wanted to fix it. That's all.
I'm a broadcast professional, ladies and gentlemen. The Americans missing a putt to
the
put
look on your. I just didn't want to take a chance of someone hearing something, even though you didn't say
fair.
it. It was close, though. Go
That's
back and
fair.
listen later. It was very, very close.
Fair. Okay, cool. Well, it is what it is. Point is, missed a putt to the Americans by about an inch that would have put away another point. So they will take this one. Berger and Koepka will take this one. Pair of Seminoles, by the way, pair of Florida State guys. They were getting the tomahawk chop from the Americans as they got on. I love this tournament. We're going to talk about why with Savannah Lee coming up here in just a little while. Carolina Panthers putting away the Houston Texans last night on Thursday Night Football, but it came at great cost. I'm going to tell you about that coming up here in just a minute. News out of the NBA today that will impact the game, and I think make some of you old school fans relatively happy. So we're going to talk about that coming up, but it is time to start the show, Lonzo. So let's do that thing you do.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
The Madre thought I said the bad word too, Lonzo. So you're not alone. The Madre thought I said the bad word.
Okay, and she's right. Stream?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because. Okay.
I didn't. I grumbled angrily as the putt would not fall.
Again, the reaction that you saw from me, that's, that was surprise, and let me go ahead and do this just in case.
Time for the lunch breakdown. The three things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. Speaking of the Ryder Cup, a solid start for the Americans as of right now. They are square 1-1 with the Europeans as our first two matches have come in. Sergio Garcia and Jon Rahm have knocked off Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth 3-1. Spieth had an incredible shot on 17. The American tee shot, his tee shot, ended up down on the side of Lonzo, a hill about that steep, about a 81 degree angle, but in grass that's about shin high. So it actually hung on the side of the hill. He was hitting a pitching wedge or an approach wedge up about 10 yards over his head to the top of this plateau, about an 81 degree angle, and he dropped it to about 4 feet. It was incredible. One of the best golf shots I have, legitimately not trying to exaggerate, one of the best golf shots I've ever seen in my life. And then they missed the putts and gave it away.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they still would have had to have won on 18 to tie. So it's only a half a point mistake ultimately. If they assume that they would have won 18, but they did win. They were 5 down with 5 to play and won 3 holes in a row in order to get to that point. So not an awful start, but they could not find it to put it away. So Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth get knocked off by Sergio Garcia and Jon Rahm. Brooks Koepka and Daniel Berger have finished off Lee Westwood and Fitzpatrick. It is final. They win 3-2. So that's a point for the Americans to start. Dustin Johnson, South Carolina's own, ladies and gentlemen, and Colin Morikawa also win 3-2. So that's 2-1 for the Americans. And our final pairing out right now, Ian Poulter and Rory McIlroy versus Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele. Xander Schauffele, remember, won the gold medal in the Olympics for golf this year. He started a little something on Twitter when he put up a picture of his gold medal. He brought it with him to the Ryder Cup and asked if it would be too much to use it as his ball marker. No, Xander, that's all it should ever be used for.
Please tell me he's doing that. Don't just say you're going to do it.
He can't because it's too big, but it's in his back. He has it with him. So if any point he needs a little intimidation check, he can just pull that gold medal out and hold it up and remind
you couldn't get
Poulter and McIlroy who they're up against.
You couldn't get a miniature made before you went.
He had to have, right? I absolutely would have. Anyway, they are through 14, 4 to play, and Cantlay and Schauffele are 4 up with 4 to play. So they can only give away half a point here, but with 4 to play, I got to imagine that they're going to be able to take one more and win this thing, meaning that the Americans will take 3 of 4 points in the morning session of golf. That is huge. That is huge. So that's where we stand. Waiting to see what the pairings are going to be this afternoon. I suspect the Thomas Spieth pairing is going to be broken up. I imagine Justin Thomas will be sitting this afternoon for the Americans. Jordan Spieth playing great golf. I'd like to see him paired up with Bryson DeChambeau, but we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that later on. Savannah Lee from Pro Golf Now joins us at 12:35 to talk about that. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown. NBA news that I think a lot of you will like. Those of you that have been complaining about the offensive play style of guys like Ice Trey and James Harden, you may get a little bit of relief this year. Officiating changes are coming to the NBA this season, made to eliminate instances of players going out of their way to warp the game beyond the way it normally is played, according to Monty McCutcheon, who oversees the on-court performance of the league's referees. McCutcheon, NBA Senior Vice President, Head of Referee Development and Training, said in a Zoom call yesterday afternoon, quote, "We want basketball to be played, not manipulated," end quote. The NBA has been quick to point out that the revised focus is not on rule changes, but rather interpretive changes, ones designed to eliminate some of the overt foul drawing plays that had become pervasive in recent seasons. We talked about Trae Young, James Harden, even to some degree, Giannis Antetokounmpo is guilty of this when they start jumping into defensive players to draw fouls as opposed to being fouls. McCutcheon said, quote, "NBA referees are no longer in the business of what would have happened when adding that when there is a, quote, overt, abrupt, or abnormal motion, end quote, those fouls will now be dismissed." So examples of this, Lonzo, would be like when a shooter has a defender, let's say, ahead into his left, and he goes up for the jump shot, but he jumps ahead into the left and leans into the defender for a foul, or an offensive player who abruptly veers off path into a defender, a shooter kicking his leg up or out to the side at an abnormal angle.
That's the one I want to see.
Yes,
yeah.
Or an offensive player using his off arm to hook the defender as he goes up for a shot and basically pull them in for a foul. Those will now be disregarded, or are supposed to be disregarded by officials. We're going to talk more in depth about this, though, but I think it's good for the
I was
game.
going to say, unless you are KD or LeBron.
Trae Young, James Harden.
Like, there's a couple guys that the rule doesn't apply to, but everybody else, yes.
I'll be intrigued to see if there's a superstar treatment to this. We're going to talk about that later on the show. Finally, item number 3 on the lunch breakdown, your Carolina Panthers, ladies and gentlemen, 3-0 for just the 5th time in team history after a 24-9 knockdown of the Houston Texans, which was a really, really intense game till about the 4th quarter. It didn't really get broken open until very late in the 3rd and into the 4th, but it comes at a cost, ladies and gentlemen. It comes at a cost, as two of the biggest names on the team are now out indefinitely. Christian McCaffrey left the game with a strained hamstring. He ran a little off left run. During that, he kind of did a little hop, and you could see something was wrong. He ran out of bounds, and then a few minutes later was in the medical tent, and then a few minutes later, he ended up being taken back to the locker room. Just minutes later, he was declared out for the remainder of the game. We do not know the severity of that yet. I am waiting to hear from Elena Getzenberg, our friend of the show up with the Charlotte Observer, to see if we can get some inside information. He was not the only one. J.C. Horn was forced to leave the game as well. A broken right foot for the rookie out of South Carolina, meaning he is likely done for some time, as that broken right foot will need some time to heal. When asked about losing CMC, Cam Irving said, quote, "We're a football team. We're not the Carolina Christian McCaffreys," which, yeah, great, cool. Can we stop pretending like superstars aren't important to an offense? Can we stop pretending that you can just plug in the next guy and get Christian McCaffrey?
That was good. That's a little bit mean answering it that way. I mean, I get it. I get what he's saying, but that's kind of. I will say that Chuba Hubbard got better as the game went on. He definitely doesn't have the burst that Christian McCaffrey has, but could have been a whole lot worse. And I thought he got better by the end of the game. Still going to be a problem for sure.
Yeah, he's going to end up being the starter. 52 yards on 11 carries, added 3 catches for 27 as well to Chuba Hubbard. The number 8 overall draft pick, J.C. Horn, non-contact injury. It was kind of weird. He was just kind of backpedaling it around, and then he just went down like a sniper got him.
Yeah, but whenever you see a guy lay there and they just immediately motion for someone to come over, it's pretty bad.
Never good. No immediate word on how long he'll be sidelined. Matt Rule said, quote, "We love those guys. We're going to help them get better. JC will be back. JC Horn is a special football player." End quote. We're going to break that game down in more detail as the show rolls on. Here's what I got scheduled for you today. Coming up at 12:30, Savannah Lee of Pro Golf Now is going to join us to talk Ryder Cup. At 1:35, Kevin Marshall of FCS Nation will join us on the show. We'll break down where Furman and Wofford stand, as well as the rest of the FCS at 1:35. Then at 2 o'clock, Kevin Thomas from Moving the Chains is going to join us here on the show, and we'll talk about all of the prep high school football action in the area this weekend. What are you laughing at?
Some love.
From Grease look today. Hey, man. When you look good, you look good, all right? Quick break. We're back after this. Rob Lonzo, this is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Prisma.
Oh, well, oh, well, oh, well, oh. Tell me more. Did you get very fat?
NBC Sports just tweeted out that shot you were talking about.
Isn't that incredible?
And then he has to run himself down the hill.
Yeah.
He has to stay out of the water. Yeah. You want to go ahead and give me her number?
Yeah. Pardon me for a moment.
Upstate Sports Center update. I'm Matt Pauley. Hey, Paladin fans, Dan Scott here. It is
And just because I have blonde hair doesn't make me Sandy. Just want everyone to know that. So get that out of your head.
Go grease lightning, you're burning up the quarter mile.
You know, I know someone who absolutely hates grease with all his being. And he probably still hasn't finished working on my laptop yet.
I was wondering who it was.
So if you should happen to see him later, just start singing Grease and see what he does. I mean, he won't get violent, but he
I'm
will.
just going to start calling him Grease Lightning. He won't get violent.
All right, I can't guarantee he won't get violent, but I believe he won't get violent. I've seen him angry before. I guess it's a possibility.
Ooh. It's time to see what this is all about. Fall is the time to enjoy life to the fullest. Act now. Restorative, regenerative therapies are available here. And the office consultation is call QC Kinetics at 864-448-3772. Non-surgical joint pain relief. 864-448.
So it's the first part of the game at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Because my son brought even more guys from his job, and that particular lane's still really slow.
How was the crowd for us? Same?
About the same,
Yeah.
because of the people that were brought.
Okay.
Now, they have more signups. We need to push it, though,
Yeah.
especially with next week. All the people that Cameron brought,
Yeah.
they're not going to be there, and neither is he, because they have a company function at Floor Field. So he's not going to be there. You're not going to be there. Diesel's not going to be there. But we're getting our shirts next week.
Oh, are we going to get them officially?
Not only are we getting shirts, but if you were thinking of coming, my understanding is we're going to have T-shirts with the same sort of
Nice.
logos on to give
Nice.
away.
We're getting bowling shirts though, right?
Yes.
I got to tell you, I think the bowling shirt's going to replace this as the official Rob Brown.
Oh, especially with the what'd you put on the back ears? I mean,
Did they put the name across the back?
that's what I thought they were supposed to do.
I hope
I
they
don't
did.
know. I mean, remember they asked us. I know station logos are supposed to go on the front, and
Yeah.
then from what I understand,
Name across the back.
whatever you put is supposed to go across the back. So you did not do that, did you?
I want to say I put Rob Triple X Brown on it.
Oh, there we go. They'll probably spell my name wrong anyway. So.
Alonzo.
Yeah, probably. I can speak to Savannah, please. Hey, this is Lonzo, ESPN Upstate. It's going pretty good. How are you? All right, we got about 30 seconds. Hang on. Steven, I'll have to elaborate on that later. It's good and bad.
Which means not great.
No.
Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is ESPN Upstate. Welcoming back to the show, a longtime friend of the show, friend of mine, both on the air and off. She is a writer for ProGolfNow.com. She is our go-to for all things golf, and there's a little event taking place up at Whistling Straits in Wisconsin right now that we're going to dive into. My friend, the great Savannah Lee, joins us here on the show. Savannah, welcome back. Good to have you. Happy Ryder Cup Day.
Happy Ryder Cup Day. Excited to be back. I'm just glad that the Americans are up 3-1. What a morning.
What a start, right? Like, and here's the thing. I got to tell you, I've been talking to people about this, Savannah, and let's jump right into it. I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, that I thought with all of the drama, of course, we've been watching Brooks and Bryson, and I kind of fell into the trap. Honestly, I said at the beginning, I'm like, I think this is manufactured to get clicks, but then I let myself believe it was real, and they seem like they're cool now, or at least cool enough. All of the drama about Patrick Reed not being selected to the team by Steve Stricker. There was all this drama, and I kind of thought, well, the Americans might be up against it here. I think this is going to be a real tough go of it. But here they come out 3-1 to open. They were a Jordan Spieth par putt away from potentially getting a half a point. What a hell of a start for the guys.
Yeah, I was really impressed. Kind of disappointed in JT and Spieth to, pick the L to open up the day. But, going up against Sergio and Jon Rahm, it's hard to get one of those. I'll take a 3-1 lead heading into the afternoon of day one. Really proud that Brooks went out there and did his thing. He had a couple, weary shots, but for the most part, the Americans came out there and were just like, no, that we are on American soil. We are handling our business and let's do it. I mean, the fact that Rory and Posty lost 5-3, that's never happened in either one of them's career in the Ryder Cup. So I'm excited. Things are going to get interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're talking about the only point. The only point you lost this morning was to Jon Rahm, a guy who's playing incredible golf this year, a guy who a lot of us thought probably should have been the PGA Player of the Year this season. Patrick Cantlay had a really good end of the season run, and he ended up taking it away. When you consider the fact that Sergio and Jon Rahm are playing probably the best golf of either of their careers, to say that you walked out of there 3-1 instead of 2-2 or worse, I don't think that Steve Stricker could have asked for a better start.
Yeah, no, I think it's something that of course you want to win all of them, but you won't. Not when you have Sergio and Rahm, who are absolutely incredible, and with Sergio having 25 individual Ryder Cup points himself, like he is. I know everybody calls Posty the king of the Ryder Cup, but I have to say that Sergio might be. And so to be able to lose 3-1, I think is an excellent loss if there ever is one. I think it'll give JT and Spieth, a little bit of motivation to play better moving forward. And if we have to lose one, that's one I understand.
Savannah Lee from ProGolfNow.com joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. You can follow her on Twitter at SportsGirlSL. Tremendous follow during the Ryder Cup. One of the things I love, and we'll talk more about the golf itself in a minute, Savannah, but people have asked, like, why is this such a big deal, right? It's not just a golf tournament. I mean, you've got the pride of having the flag on the sleeve and playing in front, but when you're playing in Wisconsin and you got a bunch of drunk, rowdy Packers fans and you've got fans from all over the country. I've got friends there from Florida. I got friends there from Louisiana. I got a friend there from Texas. I mean, this is genuinely the Olympics of golf, right? And it's such a different environment than what we traditionally think of when we think about golf. I don't know how you can't be excited by this.
Yeah, this is the one outside of maybe the President's Cup, but even then they don't get nearly this rowdy, that you can actually cheer, boo, and essentially be a football fan at a golf event. And when you say to people who love football, especially in the South, that they can go to this venue and cheer and drink at 7 o'clock in the morning and have a good time all day long for 4 days straight, even the week if you go for practice rounds and stuff, like, who wouldn't want to jump on that? Kirby Smart said in his press conference 2 times this week how excited he was for the Ryder Cup and Harris English. Everybody loves this event. And if you can't get on with it, like evidently you haven't watched it, or you just, golf isn't for you, which is really hard. My mom's in town for birthday, and one of my best friends from high school is with her, and they're all horse people. But I put it on this morning, and they started seeing the people chant and stuff. And she's like, okay, this is an event that I could go to. So those who don't get excited or don't get it, they just need to turn the TV on for a little while and just absorb it. I think we need to see more crowd stuff, and we need a hype person out there to make them even more rowdy. But I love it. It's probably my favorite event above the SEC Championship, National Championship, any of it. I love the Ryder Cup.
Savannah Lee from Golf Now, ProGolfNow.com, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. What does it mean to the golfers, right? Like, we hear the interviews coming in, but when you look at Brooks and Bryson, even if, let's say for the sake of the discussion, their entire beef is manufactured, right? Let's just say that they're doing it for clickbait and they're doing it to win some of that money at the end of the year for generating interest. The fact that they would be doing that, whether it's real or for a little bit of that cash payout at the end of the year, that they say, you know what, even if it costs us some money, let's put this aside. The fact that Patrick Reed basically had all but a social media meltdown when he wasn't picked to be on this team, this tournament means something for these guys.
When you can wear that American flag on your arm or wherever they have it on their shirts and stuff, I just think it hits a little harder because you're playing for your country. You're playing to beat the Europeans, and it is kind of like the Olympics of golf. And the fact that they don't have to worry about all the other countries, but just this small group of countries, it's kind of like the rivalry that we all love. Like, we all love a good rivalry in college football, and this is that for golf. And so to be able to represent your country and earn bragging rights over some of the other best golfers in the world because you're playing for your country, it's incredible. It's hard to really fathom. And I would have been somebody, if Patrick Reed was healthy, he should have been on the team, but just because of that fiery passion that he has during the Ryder Cups. But I get why. And then I think Bryson loves it. I even think Brooks loves it deep down, even though he doesn't act like it. I just think it's something that holds weight. It holds truth. And they just, to be able to say I was on a Ryder Cup team means that you were able to represent your country and make your country proud. And so it's something that's just, really special to them. And I understand why. I'd love to see somebody actually ask them, think about it, guys, what does it really mean? And to see how many of them actually kind of get emotion. I mean, Steve Stricker was crying in the opening ceremonies as a captain. That's just awesome. It's just, you're coming together in a time where nobody wants to come together. And so it's awesome to just do that.
Savannah Lee joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. So we got the format in the morning. 4-ball, everybody plays their own. Second session this afternoon is alternating shots. So golfer A will drive on the even number holes, golfer B on the odd, and then they alternate shots after the drive. When Steve Stricker is looking at pairings, right, and he's approaching the afternoon shot, what are your thoughts? Do you think he has any specific chemistry he's looking for? Like, if you're in charge of putting guys together, what would be your approach to trying to find the right duos that complement each other to send out there, especially when you've got the lead that you have? And if you can add another point or two to it heading into Saturday, you got to feel real good about it.
Yeah, I think the way he did it this morning with the pairings and stuff was really smart. You have guys that are kind of close with each other. They're good friends. They either went to school together or whatever. And so I think I'd carry that into the afternoon and have guys that do play well together, like Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele or DJ and Colin. I think I'd throw them out there again. But then again, you have to find somebody to play with Bryson. I want to see the Bryson Brooks pairing just to see how it works out. I think today would be the day to do it because you can either make up for it tomorrow or it could be a situation, but I think we're all want to see it. We all keep wanting it. And so do it. Just do it, guys. I mean,
just do it. Just do it. Savannah Lee joining us here on the show. Here's one thing. I actually meant to ask you this before we got into the golf. I'm watching right now, and I'm watching the wrap-up coverage from the first session, and they were just doing this big interview with Steph Curry, who's out there. Of course, NBA legend, superstar, one of the best, probably 5, 6, 7 players in the league right now. And one of the things I'm enjoying is that as time goes on, Savannah, we're actually seeing golf kind of get to a point where there are some folks that would be considered traditionally cool, guys like Steph Curry, who are getting big into golf. And so to have this event and to have guys, and he's not the only NBA guy there, but to have guys like Steph there and have college football head coaches like Kirby Smart making a point of talking about it, this event is probably one of the most valuable resources that golf as a sport has in its bag to try to continue to increase the popularity?
Oh, 100%. Steph Curry is getting more and more into it. I know he does holy moly. That's besides the point. But he plays. He does golf incentives with the youth, and he's done stuff with Davidson. Steph Curry is a huge advocate for the golf world without him even being a professional golfer, and I absolutely love it. I think these are the events that you can grow the game because they are so much fun and they are so electric, and people can fall in love with it and then they'll learn to appreciate when it does get serious for the Masters or for major championships and stuff like that. And so I think you're 100% right. The Ryder Cup is something that can draw a crowd, can draw young people to want to play. And I think that's the biggest goal right now is keeping this game growing in the right direction of it being able to be fun, but also for them to be able to kind of test the limits of what golf and new golf traditions that could be. I think, being able to cheer and stuff is something that we need to continue, maybe at the Players or something outside the Ryder Cup. And I don't think it would take away any kind of specialness from the Ryder Cup. But, the fact that they're telling people that you can cheer, and then you have young people seeing Bryson hit it the way he does, and have so many people taking a different approach to the game. I think golf is trending upwards, and it's something I'm really excited to see because Steph Curry out there, heck yeah, Justin Timberlake, all these guys that so many young people love. And the fact that they play golf, I want to pick up a golf club too. So I love it.
Talking to Savannah Lee from ProGolfNow.com here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. All right, Savannah, we got another minute or two left. We've got obviously the alternating shot format this afternoon. We'll run today's format back tomorrow, and then singles competition on Sunday. The Americans take a 3-1 lead, not commanding, but very good out of the AM portion of Friday. Give me your expectations for the weekend. Give me your prediction for this tournament.
Oh, Lordy. I think the Americans are going to pull out a really tight win on Sunday. I think it's going to come down to Sunday like it has the last couple of Ryder Cups. But the thing that the Americans need to do is stay aggressive in today's afternoon session and into tomorrow's sessions as well, because I feel like sometimes they get a little complacent and sending guys out there that, should be able to make a point, but they don't always do it. And so I think Steve Stricker, Davis Love, and the rest of the assistant captains really need to take an aggressive approach. The Europeans are always aggressive. While they are strategic, they take this event to a new level, and Padraig is going to stay as aggressive as possible, especially after going down 3-1 after the first morning session. And so I think you need to have a juggernaut kind of showdown matchup where you throw the aggressive guys out there and say, let's play ball, score some points, and prove that Americans can hang right with the Europeans. And so I got the Americans winning maybe by a point or even half a point on Sunday, but it's going to be close. And I think these two captains know what it means to be aggressive and try to win this for their country.
All right, who wins it on Sunday? Are we celebrating with the red, white, and blue, or are the Europeans continuing their dominance?
Team USA all the way by half a point or a point.
Love it. Love it. That is Savannah Lee from ProGolfNow.com. Follow her on Twitter at SportsGirlSL all the way through the Ryder Cup. Savannah, tremendous to talk to you. Glad to have you back on. We'll break this whole thing down next week.
Sounds good, Rob. Thanks, Kim.
There you go. That is the great Savannah Lee, SportsGirlSL on Twitter, and you can see her work at ProGolfNow.com as the Americans take a 3 out of possible 4 points away from the Europeans in the AM session. We'll start getting our pairings for the afternoon session from Captain Stricker coming up very soon. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate.
This DM
Chris
something.
Canyon. Okay. What did he say?
If you read that article, he just said he couldn't wrestle. It was during a Howard Stern call. He said he said Canyon couldn't wrestle.
I don't
some of the comments, in the article from supporters are hilarious and on point. If you check out the article, it's a short article.
I'm reading it.
Ginobili returning to the Spurs as a player development advisor, focusing on the team's young roster. Ryder Cup, Team USA's Dustin Johnson and Colin Morikawa defeated Team Europe's Paul Casey and Victor Hovland 3-2. Europeans John Rahm, Sergio Garcia 3-1 victory over Americans Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas.
Here's the thing. Like I've watched Canyon a lot.
Well, I think they used something. Well, obviously they used some of it on Dark Side of the
yeah.
Ring. Yeah.
Which is fine. But here's the thing. I don't remember Canyon being known for being a great wrestler.
Yeah.
I remember him being hilarious for just showing up and Canyon cutting random people.
Wasn't he at first with David Flair and Daphne?
I don't remember.
I think so.
I think Canyon was at his biggest when I was kind of between my wrestling phases.
Chefs cook nutritious meals from fresh whole food ingredients and deliver them right to your door. Since every meal is delivered fresh, simply remove from the fridge, eat for 3 minutes, and enjoy. There's no prep, no cooking, no cleaning, no stress. And now, get $40 off your first 2 weeks when you text HUNGRY to 484848. No matter how long or rushed your day is, whether you're working from home or wrangling the kids, you can still enjoy a delicious chef-crafted meal delivered fresh from Freshly. Now get $40 off your first 2 weeks when you text HUNGRY to 484848. That's HUNGRY to 484848 for your discount. Text HUNGRY to 484848.
Progressive Motorcycle presents Road Wisdom from the Motor. You never really stop riding in your mind. Unless you're thinking of something else, like other thoughts.
So real quick segment here because we still got one more break, right?
Yeah. So I got Crowbar mixed up with Canyon. I thought they were the same dude, but I guess they're not. Hey, I just got a restart notification. How about no? Let's put it in the middle of Diesel. But so Steven, the new bowling ball is awesome. I'm going to have to adjust to it. I have a swollen finger because I was gripping the ball too tight. And I realized later on that I had a little bit of a fear of throwing it as hard as I would a bowling ball that I don't own. So there's some adjustments that need to be made. Came out pretty strong. And then after that, it kind of went downhill, but it will get better. I'm sure by the time Rob is back, I'll be ready to compete, ready to go. And if you want to see firsthand, you can still sign up. It's not too late.
It's the Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon, the annual year-long event where you can save big by bundling Home and Auto with Progressive. So big that we're kicking things off with fireworks. A monster truck battle. A fighter jet fire. Party without the Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon dancers. But trust us, they are working it. The fun and stay for the savings. Only at Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-a-thon.
I changed the channel since it was over. You said it was over, right? He never really listens to me.
I shook my head yes. Sorry, yes.
Well, you usually nod your head. You don't.
I did. I went like this.
I know, but
Oh, sorry. I didn't know.
yeah. Okay. So I was confused. I was mesmerized by that. I can't unsee Danny Zuko now. I was going to ask if you have leather, but you ride a motorcycle, so of course you have leather.
Of course. All right, I know this is coming out of nowhere, but I'm in love with what just happened. Barstool Sports put out an article where they ranked the most annoying college football stadiums. And Barstool Sports headline, Lonzo, is, quote, South Carolina has the most annoying football stadium in America, and it's all thanks to this stupid screaming bird, which is hilarious to me, right?
Wait, so Cocky screams?
Well, over the PA, whenever there's a play that I can't do it, but yes, they play a very loud.
Oh, you're talking
Crow, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So,
okay.
They said,
Yo, city people, how do you think you get your chicken breast when you go out to eat?
They said South Carolina has the most annoying stadium in America because of the, quote, stupid screaming bird. Shane Beamer just tweeted out, "Hey, Eric Nichols." And I believe Eric Nichols is he is the associate AD for South Carolina. He said, "Hey, Eric Nichols, what's our record for the most times we've ever played that stupid screaming bird during a game? Let's double it tomorrow night. Rooster emoji, Spurs up emoji." Thanks. I had to tell you.
You think Beamer does his own social?
I think he does.
I hope
Based
so.
on the way he
I
talks
hope
in the
so.
press conferences, it's very similar to the way that the tweets come out. I think he does. And even if he doesn't, he lets his people put out tweets like this. I've said a number of times, though, I don't know if he's the guy, but I really hope he is, because he's got the potential to be very Spurrier-like, and that the people in South Carolina will lay down in front of a train for this coach.
He is already
and
sneaky
everybody else is
Spurrier-like.
going to hate him.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. All these little things, these are Spurrier digs. They are
Oh,
without
yeah.
a doubt.
That how many times, what's the record for most times we've played the stupid screaming bird? Let's double it. Because the Gamecock fans love it. And if you're anybody but a Gamecock fan, yeah, it's annoying. But for them, go bananas.
Is it really? It's just a rooster, man. I mean, I can see where it'd be annoying if you're trying to sleep at 8:00 in the morning and your neighbor has chickens, but you're there. What do you expect?
You ever been to a Tennessee game?
No, thank God.
Okay. Tennessee, their band.
I don't want to hear Rocky Top if that's what you're talking about.
Their band plays Rocky Top every 30 seconds. Every time, like every band has like a little 20-second thing that they do whenever something good happens. Third down, stop, they play it. First down, they play it, whatever. Rocky Top, they're like, oh, the coach came out of the tunnel, Rocky Top. Oh, that player just put on his helmet, Rocky Top. Oh, that guy just pulled up his socks, Rocky Top. That fan just drank a beer, Rocky Top. That fan just drank a beer, Rocky Top. That fan just drank a beer, Rocky Top. 1st and 10, they got a 1-yard run, Rocky Top. It's awful. It goes over the top. But if you're a Tennessee fan, you don't give a good gosh darn. You don't care at all. I'm here for it. I love that Beamer's like leaning into it. Barstool Sports says that stupid screaming bird, and Shane's like, Spurs up, give it to me. Love this guy. Love this guy. Come back, wrap up hour number 1 next. At 1:35, we'll be joined by Kevin Marshall of SES Nation. 2:00, Kevin Thomas from Moving the Chains to break down local prep football. All that and more coming up on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
setup, higher performance and efficiency to provide endless.
That's why you're in charge, though.
Stronger with the industry's strongest warranty.
There are some things I can't do.
Stainless steel heat exchanger built in every unit. Learn about Navient's condensing tankless water heaters and find a Navient contractor at tanklessmadesimple.com. That's tanklessmadesimple.com.
Now that commission-free trading is no
Bless you. Actually pulled out the long sleeve shirt today. Look out. Of course, it'll be back warm tomorrow. But.
Value is becoming smarter with every commission-free online equity trade. Discover true value with TD Ameritrade, where smart investors get smart.
Question is, are you going to be cold next week?
Oh, the flannel shirts get busted back out next week if it stays like this. We get to go back to flannel jeans.
You're going to
and boots.
be, I mean, in Boston, are you going to be like your
No,
cousin?
It's actually funny.
You're going to be like,
Boston. It's apparently it's the same temperature in Boston as it is here right now.
oh,
in
okay.
Boston at Fenway Park. Texter says ESPN. Hell yeah, Shane. Shane said, "Can I get a hell yeah?" Another text says ESPN. Rocky Top in college and the Band Riff Go Pack Go in Green Bay for the NFL are way worse than the Gamecock Stadium. Not even close. You are correct. You are correct.
And if I recall, the rooster sounds kind of distant, even though it's going, it's just, yeah.
I have not made it to Will It Be yet for a game. I will this year. The lady friend is a Gamecock, and she's like, you have to get us tickets. Yes. So I will be at a South Carolina game this year. And it sucks because the two I wanted to go to were Kentucky and Tennessee this week and next week, and I'm in Boston. But we'll be there. I want to hear it in person. I absolutely do. Can't wait. Same for Clemson. I haven't been to a game at Clemson yet either. I'll fix that problem this year too. All right, next hour, Kevin Marshall of FCS Nation joins us at 1:35, and we break down those two games, Clemson and South Carolina. All that more coming up in the next hour. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be, if I may, award-winning caliber on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate.
Golf cart in the first break.
Already.
Presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update powered by The Score. A busy weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway with all of the circuits running. The Xfinity Series set to go on Saturday. The Cup Series with the South Point 400 in action on Sunday. Earlier in the week, the starting lineup was set using the qualifying metric as the 12 playoff drivers are slotted in the top 6 rows. Kyle Larson is set to start from the pole. He's going to be joined up there by Ryan Blaney. After that, William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Chris Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, and Christopher Bell in rows 2 through 6, respectively. Kyle Larson is considered the favorite to win Sunday night. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
That player was either safe or out. Those are the only two options. And if you watch the replay, he was clearly, demonstrably, without a doubt, not safe, because the first thing you have to do to be safe is to touch the freaking base. And you know what Alec Bohm didn't do? Touch the freaking base. He just didn't touch it at all. This is not, bang, bang, play. There was no bang, bang, because there wasn't no bang,
Bang, bang!
There was just one bang, which was the tag. You know, bang, bang is when runner's foot hits base at very close to the exact same moment that ball hits glove or ball touches tag and gets out. That's bang, bang. This was not bang, bang because they missed the first bang. There was only one bang, bang. He's out because he didn't do the first bang, which is to touch the freaking dish. He didn't do it.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg. Catch the Rob Brown Show, weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate.
Tomorrow on college football on ESPN Radio. Obviously, everybody really decided an opportunity to start conference play. Obviously, know the level of competition rise this week.
It's the SEC opener for Tennessee, and their first road game as they head into the swamp to face the 11th ranked Florida Gators.
And it's picked off back-to-back pick sixes for the Florida Gators.
tomorrow night at 7 on your home for the best games in college football. ESPN Upstate.
We picked the Panther game on our thing, didn't we?
Yes.
Did we win that? Did we cover that?
I think we both picked Carolina to cover, didn't we?
We did. But I couldn't remember what the.
Yeah, 8.5.
Okay.
So we're good. We're 1-1 or 1-0, both of us.
Good way to go into the weekend.
Let's get it. Hour number 2, the Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. I am Rob, the great one, Lonzo, the pinnacle of professionalism at the helm today, ladies and gentlemen. Good start for the picks week for me and Zoe, 1-0. After Carolina covered the 8.5 up over Houston last night. I gotta tell you. 3 quarters, it looked like that game was going to be uncomfortably close. And Christian McCaffrey went out with a strained hamstring, and J.C. Horn left with a non-contact broken right foot. No timeline on the return for J.C. Horn. Christian McCaffrey with that strained hammy. Just depends on how bad it was, right? We're waiting on the reports for those 2 players to come out. Either way, the Carolina Panthers are 3-0. It's just the 5th time that team, that franchise, has started a season 3-0 since their inception back in the mid-90s. It's a good start. Every other team in the NFC South is currently behind them. Remember, it is week 3 for Carolina. So Tampa's got the LA Rams this weekend. The Saints are on the road in Foxborough, Massachusetts, taking on the Patriots. And it does not matter who Atlanta plays because they're bad at football. So that's where we stand right now. And a good win for Carolina, right? Look, it was closer than they would have liked up front. Okay. It just is what it is. It was 2. Now, the good news is they completely shut down the Houston Texans run game. Houston tried to run the ball on them last night, and they just couldn't do it. And they tried to do it with a rookie quarterback. They tried to take some pressure off of Davis Mills and his appearance last night. Mills went in the game 19 of 28 for $168 and a touch. Sam Darnold, 23 of 34, 304. No touches, no picks, but he did have 2 on the ground. As we all knew, Lonzo, the premier rushing threat for the Carolina Panthers would, of course, be Sam the Galloping Gazelle Darnold.
All he does is rush for touchdowns, ladies and gentlemen. Was that
2 of them last night?
It's like 3 on the year.
3 on the year.
Yeah.
3 on the year for Sam Darnold. 8 carries, 11 yards, 1 5-yard touchdown, and 1 long.
He just leans forward and he can't help it.
Hey, that first touchdown. Yeah, I know, because his hair's 18 feet tall. That first touchdown where they sent everybody left with Christian McCaffrey. Lonzo, they faked me out. Okay. I'm watching on TV 30 feet up in the air, and they faked. Everybody thought 22 had the rock. Everybody thought 22 had the rock. They moved the offensive line left. The wide receivers block left. Darnold started it left, pulled the ball on the option. The defensive end flattened right. Well, so if you're the quarterback, when you step back to read that option, you're reading the first guy off the edge. It's 95% of the time going to be the defensive end, but sometimes it'll be the outside linebacker. But he's reading that defensive end. And when Darnold puts the ball into the gut of McCaffrey and he looks at the defensive end, that's an easy read for a lot of quarterbacks to miss, right? Because you have that long to make the decision of deciding to keep it or hand it off to CMC there. And the read is the defensive end, right? If defensive end is angled inside to stop the running back, you pull it. If he's angled straight up the field to try to keep contained on the quarterback, which is what they're supposed to do in that position, then you let it go. Well, the defensive end flattened out along the line to chase Darnold down on a pursuit angle. And as soon as Sam Darnold took that, he pulled the ball. Everybody, the cameraman went left. I went left. The guys at the table at Wings Etc. in Boiling Springs watching the game with me went left. Everybody went left, and Darnold read it like a dream. Perfect. I had to tell you, We talked about the Adam Gase effect, right? The Adam Gase effect, because Ryan Tannehill got better when he split out. Sam Darnold appears to have gotten better since he left Adam Gase. By the way, Pat McAfee said on his show, and I did not know this. I did not go deeper. Back in the day, Adam Gase got his career started with the Denver Broncos. He left Denver. The next year, the Broncos won the Super Bowl. He also coached in college, Lonzo. He was on the 2002 staff for LSU. He left LSU. You know what LSU did in 2003?
I believe they may have won a championship.
They won the national championship. And this, I don't think I could have known. This came from Pat McAfee shows earlier today. Adam Gase was the quarterback for his Michigan high school team, Marshall High School in Michigan. He graduated with a losing record in 1996. You know what his high school team did the year after he left in 1997?
Won the state championship.
Won the state championship game. I don't believe in curses, except Adam Gase. Except Adam Gase. I got to tell you.
And yet he still continued to get job after job.
I'd hire him now for a year.
That's a good point.
I'd hire him now.
If you can handle it for a year, the following year is going to be really good for you.
If you are a team like the Atlanta Falcons and you knew the rebuild is imminent, right? Hire Adam Gase as your quarterback's coach for 1 or 2 seasons, because clearly the man just is, he's just cursed. It's just got to be. I just kind of feel bad for him. Do you think that McCaffrey was hurt there, or do you think that was a jump into a cut? I think he was jumping to set up a juke.
Yeah, I think he hurt
And
himself when he jumped.
Yeah.
And I've partially torn a hamstring before, so it doesn't look that bad to me, because the fact he looked like he was walking fairly normal. So hopefully it's just a strain and he'll be out for a couple weeks. But yeah, I agree. He jumped to make a move and he came down wrong.
Yeah, we were watching that game and I saw the jump. I thought, and it's not a move we see out of him, but I thought he jumped in order to come down and set up a cut, right? Like you jump up in the air, and when you come down, you can push left to go right. You can set up a juke and still go right. I thought he was setting up a juke move against the Texans linebacker there, and then he just kind of allowed himself to get shoved out of bounds.
Well,
I didn't wonder if he didn't pull his hammy on the jump.
The other thing, if you watch, he continued to run after that. I mean, after the jump and the land,
Yeah.
he ran some more. If
you pull a hammy, you go down.
Yeah, you go down big time.
Yeah, you go down. And I don't know, man. That was not a great look. Not a great look. But Run CMC was ruled out about 10, 15 minutes later from the rest of that game. He would not return after going back to the locker room. We do not have a timeline on McCaffrey yet. We are waiting to see if there is a timeline given. I would assume that we will get some news on that at some point today. But here is a fact. About a week and a half before we got to the NFL season, we had a texter text in the show and ask me, would you rather draft Christian McCaffrey or Alvin Kamara? Said he's got the second spot in the draft. Both of those guys are probably going to be available. Which one would I take? And I said Alvin Kamara. And a lot of you guys got angry with me, right? A lot of you guys got very mad. And they said, oh, you're just being a homer, Rob. You're a Saints fan. You're a homer. No. What did I tell you? I am worried that the injury bug is now real for Christian McCaffrey. When guys start getting injuries, they start piling up, right? About 5 years ago.
I was going to ask you, how many yards did Alvin Kamara have last week?
It was not a great week.
Yeah.
But it was also his career worst game.
Oh, okay. Well,
That is well under average.
hopefully it's an anomaly and not a trend. But if it's a trend, then even a hurt Christian McCaffrey might be better.
Yeah. So about I don't know if I go that far, because again, how many games is he going to miss now, right? If this is a 2 or 3 week injury, no big deal. But about 5 6 years ago, I had Stefania Bell from ESPN. She's their injury expert, right? I had Stefania Bell on my show about 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm trying to remember who the player was, but we got to talking about, why is it that it seems once a player gets an injury or two in a season that they become injury prone? And Stefania Bell said it's kind of a coping mechanism, right? Like you can heal from an injury, but number one, as human beings, our bodies are not perfect, right? They're not perfect. And when you are injured, even a slight injury, that part of your body will never be 100% again. As you age, your body's already degrading, right? It's already degrading. Once you get an injury to a part of your body, that injury will never be 100%. You can come back at 90%, 95%, but you'll never be 100%. And what happens is for a lot of players is the injuries creep into their head, right? Especially when you're talking an ACL, an MCL, you're talking a bicep tear, a pec tear. That injury gets into your head. And what happens is you start to compensate for it. So if you've torn your left, let's say left ACL, and it cost you a season, even with the modern state of medical technology, which can put you back together better than ever before in history. If you tear your left ACL, even though you're healed and you can go cut on it, your brain, if subconsciously, is always aware of the fact that that knee cannot hold up the way that it used to naturally. And so what will happen is subconsciously, players will start to compensate for that. So a guy who might have gone left and would cut back hard left on that knee may not cut the same way that he used to cut. And when he doesn't cut, what happens is it starts to spread pressure to other parts of you. It changes the way that your body naturally reacts in situations that demand an athletic response of some type. And now all of a sudden, all the other compensating joints and muscles and tendons and all that, they are being forced to work in a way that is not natural, or your body has not conditioned itself to work. We talk about muscle memory, right? Shooting free throws. The greatest free throw shooters say they don't even think. It's muscle memory. You just whoop, there's a shot. Well, if you've been a running back since high school, you have conditioned a muscle memory into your body of when I cut left, it starts in the ankle. It works this way. The knee works this way. Then the hips swivel this way. Then the lower back goes. Then the shoulders go. Then the arms follow. The neck follows. The head follows. Well, if you busted your left ACL and you subconsciously know that you cannot react the same way, that instead of your ankle and then your knee and your lower back and your hips and your shoulders and your head all react in the same way, now they all work differently. That ankle knows, well, we can't put as much force, so we got to transition some of this weight differently. And your brain it makes your body work differently. Well, now you've been running a certain way for 7, 10, 15 years, and now you got to run a different way. You are more susceptible to injury. And for a guy whose game is less based on run forward, take contact, and go, but is more based on finesse and jukes and jives and moves and lefts and rights and zigs and zags, every little thing, every little injury that McCaffrey has suffered over the last 2 years, there is I'm not saying this is what is happening, but there is a chance subconsciously he's aware of those injuries and he compensates for those injuries, and it causes the injuries to happen in other places now. And I said preseason, I am concerned. He's only 25, but I am concerned about the injury bug for Christian McCaffrey based on what happened to him last year. We are now getting reports, as a matter of fact. This one comes from I don't know this source, so I'm not gonna run with it yet. But starting to trickle out that they are expecting potentially 2 to 4 weeks of action missed by Christian McCaffrey due to that hamstring sprain. So according to Sports Illustrated.com, just came across this from SI. They say that these types of injuries will definitely prevent him from playing against Dallas next week and whether or not he can go on there. In Rappaport, here you go. In Rappaport is a source I trust. In Rappaport of NFL Network is reporting that McCaffrey is expected to miss, quote, a few weeks, end quote. Carolina has Dallas 1-1 right now. They've obviously got their game this weekend to get to their third game. Dallas 1-1 next week for the Panthers. And the week after that, they got a Monday Night Football visit from the Philadelphia Eagles coming up. So, Lonzo, this is not ideal because you got two critical games coming up. If you put the Cowboys away, if the Cowboys are bouncing back and they look a little better last 2 weeks, you put the Cowboys away, you put the Eagles away, and get 2 of the 3 NFC East games as wins. That's a big boost for the Panthers. But now you've got to retinker the entire game plan because even your passing game is based around McCaffrey. I told you I was worried about the injury bug coming into the season, and here we are.
But this is one of those cases where a Thursday night game actually helps them because they get some extra time to work on all that because they're not playing this Sunday, so they don't play till the following Sunday, right? So you get a few more days out of it, a little bit more time to work Chuba Hubbard and the other guys into the game plan, and also more time for Christian McCaffrey to heal.
It's not work them into the game plan.
They have to be the game plan. Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard is now the game plan.
Although tight end stepped up last night, we're seeing some names that we haven't heard previously because this is basically a whole lot of new faces on this team already starting to step up. Now, can they do it against better competition? Because you got better competition coming up the next couple games.
We're going to find out. We're going to talk more about it as the show rolls on. I am Rob Brown. Lonzo is at the helm. Panthers fans want to hear from you. 844-GSP, ESPN, 844-477-3776. Rob, I disagree. Your body is perfect. It just may not be perfectly designed for every sport or activity in which you wish to engage. After healing from injury, it's no longer perfect. I have really thick glasses on right now. My eyes have never been injured. We degrade. All right. That's just a fact. It's not a thing. I mean, I understand.
Wait. Those are prescription?
It turns out, yes, I don't just wear cosmetic glasses.
Because you have so many different pairs that match what you're wearing.
And they're all prescription.
So
they're not only prescription.
That's cost a good little bit of money.
They're fashionable though.
Yeah, well, they are.
So how much can you pay to look this good?
There's no amount of money.
$22.
Yeah,
$22 a pair.
22?
Yeah, it's $22
Okay.
a pair. That's how much you can pay to look this good.
So did you buy them at CVS? Are they reading glasses?
No, I bought them on a website online.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I got them customized.
Okay, cool.
Again, $22 is what it costs to look this good. No, listen, from what's the old phrase? From the minute you're born, you start dying. I mean, your body degrades, right? You could have an 80-year-old man who's never been injured. He's still going to have knees that aren't going to work like they used to. We wear and tear over time. And especially when you're putting yourself through football.
You have to compensate when you have a major injury or even a minor injury. I have a complete knee reconstruction. And then you have to learn how to walk again. You have to learn that you can't do things that you used to do. And it always amazes me when I see reconstructive knees on NFL guys because they had to learn how to do it again and learn how to do it a different way. But it's always going to be in the back of your mind, no matter how great a shape you're in, as you were saying earlier, that I have to be careful with that part of my body now.
Yeah.
And eventually you don't think about it anymore, but you're right. Your mind it's still in the back of your conscience going, yeah, don't do that way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Listen, your body, if you never do anything athletic, is still going to wear and tear and degrade over time. It has a shelf life. All right. We're not designed for infinity. We're not evolved for infinity.
All those older people with hip replacements, they
know what I'm talking about.
They weren't necessarily athletes through their life. It's just,
it's just what happens.
Just you've walked a lot your entire life and things wore out.
You got cartilage in your joints that wears down over time. You've got connective tissue that wears down over time. Your bones will slowly be able to grow and strengthen, and eventually will start to get brittle. That's how it works. And then you pile football on top of it, which requires all of this athletic endurance. When you pop a knee, your body will subconsciously react to protect that injury in the future. Texas says, shocking, the golf course grown guy has matching glasses for his outfits. Do you want me to look good or not? Because I do. I can't help it. It is what it is.
Yeah, we're now a visual medium also, so you
Yeah.
gotta take care of that.
Go look at the stream. It's although the girlfriend is not a fan of the white frames. The black one she likes. The red, the blue one she likes, not the white ones.
What's wrong with the white frames?
You have to ask her.
Maybe.
I think. I
what's-
think it's because she's used to being the prettiest one in the room, but then I put on these glasses and it's like, oh.
There you go. You nailed it.
Back after this on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Golf card.
The 2021 golf cart is on sale for you now, ladies and gentlemen. 9 rounds of golf at 9 beautiful courses all around the upstate. You're going to play all of them. Don't tell anybody. $50. $50. If I came to you and said, hey, dude, $50, I got this card, man. I got this card. You take it around. You can play 9 golf courses, $50. Just give me a 50 spot. I'll give it to you right now. You'd be like, all right, you shady son of a gun. You shady dude, you. I don't believe you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what's happening. And it's legit. It even has a website. Go to upstategolfcard.com. Upstategolfcard.com. You can get yours now, and you can play 9 rounds of golf for $50. You can't do that anywhere, at least not on nice courses. And these are not the most prestigious in the upstate. Go to upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com to get yours today. It's the 2021 Upstate Golf Card. Ba-na-na.
But it comes at a price. Christian McCaffrey, he exits the game with a strained hamstring, and also first-round pick cornerback J.C. Horn leaves the game with a broken right foot. It sounds like the Horn injury is more serious than the McCaffrey injury, but either way, not good. Sam Darnold throwing for 304 yards. Chubb Hubbard ends up being the leading rusher, 11 carries, 52 yards. So the Panthers sit with a record of 3-0. They'll get back at it a week from Sunday when they match up against the Cowboys. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
High school football fans, I'm Cole Bryson. Get the scores, discussion, interviews, and more on the Saturday Morning Scramble powered by Founders Federal Credit Union. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. There's a snap. It's reverse. Wade Meadows, right side. Touchdown. Wade Meadows. It is a one-score game.
Saturday Morning Scramble. ESPN Upstate. Everywhere on the Odyssey app. Powered by Ingles Market, your official grocery store of the Saturday Morning Scramble.
Don't go through the fall months with that joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now. Regenerative solutions are here, bringing lasting relief from joint pain with no downtime, no surgery, no steroids. QC Kinetics uses natural biologic therapies that restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, shoulders, hips, and back. Patients here are raving about the results. Listen, you don't have to live with that chronic pain, and don't think surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics now. Learn about these exciting natural alternatives. Hey, you've heard football legend Emmitt Smith talk about QC. It's time to see what this is all about. Fall is the time to enjoy life to the fullest. Act now. Restorative, regenerative therapies are available here, and the in-office consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics at 864-448-3772. Non-surgical joint pain relief. 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. That's 448-3772.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Voted one of
The guy running my game tonight told me he wants me to have. So I told him I have like a list of wrestling finishers that I'll adapt and fight, but he told me he wants me to have one finisher. So I've decided to add one more wrestler. My finishing move is going to be a power bomb, but I use their head to snap the neck of whoever I'm fighting. So we created our characters. And I've made mine this obnoxious wrestler.
50% bonus on your first deposit.
So he's all purple and golded out, and the I'm making a power bomb called the Tiger Bomb.
I love the leg things. Those are cool. I don't know what they're called. Or that's probably just boots.
They're part of his boot. I don't remember. There's a name for it.
There are many types of game formats to choose from, and you can even play private contests with your friends. There's an awesome slate of games on hand this week and every week. So what are you waiting for? Get in on all the excitement and experience season-long wins without the season-long waits. Sign up today at FanDuel.com/play to claim your bonus and start playing today. That's FanDuel.com.
Kenny Omega versus Brian Danielson got a 5-star rating from Dave Metzler. The first time any of Danielson's matches have gotten 5 stars. How is that possible?
Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. We got the hardware to prove it. Rob Lonzo and you, the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Texter says, Hurricane Jeff, our buddy Hurricane Jeff, who came out last night to the Carolina Kickoff Show at Wings, etc. Hurricane Jeff says, thanks for having me sit in with you for a little bit. It was great to meet you and Keegan. And by the way, I like the white frames. Yeah, well, of course you do. Look. It's called style. Try it out, ladies and gentlemen. You'll like it. It's called fashion. Zoe, ever heard of it?
It's framing the eyes. That's what it does.
Texter says, say yes to drugs. Bring on the PEDs, HGH, and Dianabol cycles. I ever heard the arguments from people that are like, we should just allow athletes to take whatever they want and just test the limits of the human body. Like, let's just see how absolute, like, Herculean we can make professional athletes.
I've heard the argument. Hey, man, you want to do it? Go for it. Let's see what happens.
Just make it weird. Rob, you look like someone I know that went to Riverside. Did you go to Riverside? I did not go to Riverside. If you mean Riverside, is there a Riverside High School in this area?
Yes.
Okay. No, I did not. I've only lived here, rapidly approaching 2 years already, Lonzo. 2 years.
The pandemic year, it
doesn't count.
But it's messed everything up as far as your
concept of time as a whole.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did. I've been here. I moved here in March of 2020. The first week of March of 2020, I moved here. But if I look like somebody that you know that went to Riverside High, I would like to congratulate that guy for being the best looking guy at Riverside High.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from that text if that was a compliment or a diss.
Yeah. Real quick, we got just a minute ago. Our parents, Kevin Marshall of FCS Nation, is going to join us in the next segment to talk about Furman Wofford, where the FCS stands right now. We are underway for the afternoon matchups here at the Ryder Cup, Whistling Straits in Kohler, Wisconsin. Casey and Weisberger for the Europeans are going to go up against Dustin Johnson and Xander Schauffele. So those guys are going to play another 18 this afternoon. In just a couple of minutes for the Europeans, Houghton and John Rahm are going to go out against Scheffler and DeChambeau. So interesting pairing there. Scotty Scheffler and Bryson DeChambeau. Roy McIlroy is going to go back out with Lowry, Tony Finau, and Harris English will represent the Americans in that group. And then Thomas and Cantlay, Patrick Cantlay, your PGA Player of the Year for 2021, will be paired up with Justin Thomas at 158. So the Ryder Cup afternoon edition is just underway. We are all square through one for Johnson and Schauffele against Casey and Weisberger. And the first hole is underway for Bryson DeChambeau and Scotty Scheffler against Hatton and John Rahm. So we'll keep an eye on those scores for you and give you some updates as we go this afternoon. But we'll run to a break real quick because when we come back, Kevin Marshall of FCS Nation is going to join us. We'll take a look at Furman and Wofford football, where they stand right now, the rest of the FCS ranks as we roll through college football season. Let's take a break. We're back. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. You're you, and you're listening to The Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Caters any event. Office lunches, house parties, tailgates, weddings, ballet recitals, and yes, some wrestling tournaments.
You calling us or we calling him?
We're calling him.
Taco and nacho bars with fresh and flavorful ingredients.
Marshall, right?
Yes, FCS Nation.
Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 10 Pro. Enjoy specials on Dell docks, monitors, and servers. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL to speak to a Dell Technologies advisor. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Don't miss your chance to experience South Carolina's #1 haunted house, located in Piedmont off I-85 exit 35. Buy tickets now at madworldattractions.com. That's madworldattractions.com.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life."
I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub.
It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors, and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Greatest invention ever.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
You will solve the great mystery.
Streaming only on Peacock.
This is Robert Langdon. The suspect called him. I teach symbology. He wants me to locate an ancient portal buried within the Capitol.
From the author of Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons.
It's your dad. People who took him want me to find a piece of a very old puzzle.
And executive producers Ron Howard and Brian Grazer.
We have to finish this, or my dad is dead.
Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. Streaming now with new episodes every Thursday. Only on Peacock.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is.
Good afternoon. It is going well. How are you?
United Healthcare helps connect you to better health.
All right. We got about a minute. Hang on.
Plan benefits may vary.
Churches has a deal made for you or all y'all. Choose your favorite dishes, the classic style chicken and spicy or original, with sides and biscuits for everyone. So swing by for Church's Feed 6, starting at $20 deals. Church's, bringing that down home flavor. Offer valid at participating location.
In college football, Goodyear knows a new season means new possibilities, where every Saturday is an opportunity on the road to greatness. No matter if you're out there playing your hardest or cheering the loudest from the sidelines, tailgating in the parking lot, or your favorite.
Oh, that's a lot of work left to do.
Goodyear knows passion is what drives us forward all the way to the playoffs. That's the road that moves us. Goodyear, more driven.
If I learned one thing from this great game of baseball, it's that she'll humble you. You think you've got it figured out, you check the standings, and you're in last place again. I'm Eric Rubino, Fantasy Baseball GM, and I can put my team in position to win every single time, but I can't play the games, people. At least Progressive's Name Your Price tool has options based on my budget. It never lets me down, unlike my pitching staff. Amateurs.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine.
Wow. That's not a good place to be hitting out of.
Nope.
You got this, Bryson. Come on. You ain't got this, Bryson. You do got this. Oh, good shot. Not bad. Threw the cameraman off and made it look like it went in the crowd.
Come on, Bryson.
So are you ahead on what you're watching? Is that what?
No,
Okay.
I'm actually about 30 seconds behind.
Ah, so I'm spoiling right now. You could just like turn your head to the left.
I can just watch it there.
Yeah, you could. Come back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. To the phone lines we go. Welcome in a friend of the radio broadcast. He is the host of the FCS Nation radio program and emanates from the Big Sky state of Montana, but you can hear it right here in the upstate of South Carolina on Saturday mornings on ESPN Upstate. He is our buddy Kevin Marshall joining us here on the Rob Brown Show. Kevin, my man, happy week. What are we in? Week 4 already. My goodness, how time flies.
You know, I often wondered if college football missed me too, the season. And boy, it just seems to go by so quickly. The next thing you know, we'll be talking about the playoffs, and then we'll all get together down in Frisco, Texas, and award an actual national championship derived from an actual playoff system. And then we'll just get ready to do it all over again.
I'd like to go on the record, Kevin. I'd like to go on the record and say I'm in no hurry. Can we let's just enjoy it for what we got right now. After especially at the FCS level, right? Like after last year and the impact that the COVID season had, especially on FCS teams. For you as a broadcaster and as a fan who is as in tune with FCS football as anybody else, is there like a deeper appreciation for the game for you at the FCS level than there has been in years past?
Yes. I mean, look, the spring season was a lot of fun. It kept me working, which is nice, right? But, college football played in the fall. They got 2 more FBS scalps last week. Incarnate Word beat Texas State. Northern Arizona beat Arizona. That's 12 so far, and that's just amazing. Teams come in there, take money, and go home with wins. It's a really beautiful thing.
Kevin Marshall from FCS Nation Radio joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Kevin, let's first and foremost jump in. Look, we talked a little bit last week about Furman headed to NC State. NC State, a team that really did not open the year that impressively. They went down to Stark Vegas, Mississippi State, got throttled by them. We had kind of hoped that Furman was going to put up a fight. But look, at the end of the day, as we've said on this show many times, sometimes you just have the biggest problem in sports, which is the other team's better than you. That being said, Furman showed a little bit of fight. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. But they showed a little bit of fight, which in a paycheck game like this one was, I think, is exactly what Clay Hendricks and company were looking for out of this team more than anything else, right?
Yes, and look, Furman did some good things. Furman is a good football team this year. They are so much better than they were in the spring. It's hard to compare them. And Devin Wynn runs hard. I don't think there's a team in this country, FCS, FBS, that wouldn't want him on their football team. Hamp Sisson is developing quite nicely, and that's a huge game against Mercer this week for the Paladins. We don't really know a whole lot of Mercer because they've played Point and then Bama. So you figure that Furman will be somewhere in between Point and Bama, right? So it's a better measuring stick. But Drew Cronick should not be a name that is unfamiliar to people there in Greenville. He was on the staff there at Furman, did a really good job. He's a really good coach. And Mercer has everything that's necessary for them to be an FCS power. Good fan support, excellent facilities, good coaching staff. I think that's a sleeping giant in the SoCon.
So how big does that make this game for Furman? I mean, a 45-7 loss to NC State, a game where they gave up 259 and 3 through the air. Zonovan Knight for the Wolfpack, 104 yards and a touch on the ground. How important is it for Furman as they get set to start making, continue making a playoff case? How important is this game this weekend for the Paladins?
Well, you have to get off a good start in conference play. It's important. And, defend your turf. Paladin Stadium. And, that's a tough place to play when it's full. I hope all the Furman fans will show up out there and make Paladin Stadium a tough place to play for Mercer. You want to get off to a good start in SoCon play because the margin is just so thin in the SoCon. 1 or 2 plays. I know that's kind of cliche in each game, but it really is true in the SoCon. The teams are so evenly matched. I mean, look at Western Carolina. I know they're just a little bit out of your listening range in Cullowhee, but that's a sneaky good game they're going to play against Gardner-Webb. Gardner-Webb is pretty good out of the Big South Conference. So, I mean, the teams are just so evenly matched. And the SoCon is just such a physical league. People want to run the ball mostly, and they don't care if you know that it's coming. They're going to come right at you. And it's just really physical. And when you watch one of these games, these two teams just really whip each other. And, those one or two plays make a difference in every ball game. And that's why I think SoCon football is so much more interesting than other conferences in FCS football, because you really have the have and the have-nots in some leagues around the country, just like you do in the FBS leagues, but not so much in the SoCon. Anyone really can beat anyone on any Saturday.
Talking to Kevin Marshall. He is the host of the FCS Nation radio program. You can hear it Saturday mornings right here on ESPN Upstate. So what do you want to see out of Furman in the bounce back, right? We mentioned Hamp a minute ago, 8 of 19, 86 yards, a touch and a pick, responsible for the only touchdown on the board for Furman. Devin Wynn, 9 carries, 27 yards, average 3. I got to suspect we see Coach Hendricks make some commitment to get back to the run game and get back to the point where Furman looks like a threat on the ground before they really head into the meat and potatoes of the season. Do you agree?
Yes, and they got behind against NC State, had to throw the ball more than they wanted to try to stay in the ball game. That's not who Furman is. Furman is a run-first team, set up the play action, and beat you over the top when it's advantageous for them to do so, and you're not expecting it. So, once the train got rolling there in Raleigh against them, you have to kind of change your entire game plan to try to keep up. But one solid of that is, you didn't run Win 25 times against an FBS defense. So he ought to be fresher than he would be if they would have stuck with that game plan, just trying to ground and pound. I expect that he'll be much fresher than people think, and fresh legs, even though it is just week 4, you start to get those legs start to get a little sluggish, and I expect Wynn to be right up there, ready to go. And if he doesn't carry the ball 20, 25 times, I'll be surprised against Mercer.
All right, let's get right over to the other side of the listening area over in Spartanburg. We've got Wofford, the Terriers, opened with a win over Elon. Not their best work against Kennesaw State in week 2, 31-10. They've got VMI in conference, and this one's interesting because VMI is one of those interesting teams that they wanted the Keys just want to make it physical. They want to pound this game. What's this Wofford VMI game look like to you? And with East Tennessee State and Furman, a couple of rivalry games coming up in the next 2 weeks, what do you want to see out of Wofford to establish themselves this week?
Wofford just appears to me to be a team without an offensive identity, Rob. What made them the Wofford Terriers was the triple option running the football. And I'm not sure right now with the quarterback position and the wide receiver position that they're talented enough to beat you throwing the football. And I think maybe they're a little too stubborn to, re-implement some of those things that made them a national program. So you kind of think, well, what do you do? And I just think that, the right number for Wofford throwing the ball in my mind is, 15, 17 times. And if they can do that, run the football, Wofford's going to be good. But if they insist upon trying to throw it 29, 30 times a game, it could be a seriously long year for the Terriers. And I think the only thing that's led to it is certain people over there in Spartanburg who do not want to be labeled as we're a triple option program because they feel like it limits them. And in some extent, that may be true. When Wofford's got to the playoffs, when they ran the triple, they would get handled by North Dakota State or people like that. But, North Dakota State handles a lot of people, including FBS teams, on the regular. So I just think that the stubbornness over there could lead to a really, really long season for the Terriers. I hope they prove me wrong, but I just don't think they had the talent at the quarterback position to be a drop-back pass team, or if you can force them into situations where everybody knows they're going to throw the ball, that they're not going to be very successful doing that. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, and I've been wrong before, but I just don't see that the talent is there for them to be that type of a team yet.
Kevin Marshall, host of the FCS Nation radio program, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. And I'm looking through the rest of this schedule for the Wofford Terriers. VMI this week, East Tennessee State, and then Furman back-to-back. They've got Samford, then that Mercer team you talked about a little while ago, West Carolina, Chattanooga, the Citadel, and they end their season with a trip up to Chapel Hill to take on the Tar Heels. of North Carolina, who have looked a little bit better in the last couple of weeks after the opening week loss to Va Tech. I mean, you want to talk about a year, Kevin, where if you're the Wofford Terriers, you don't want to be stuck finding yourselves. This schedule sets up to look brutal if they cannot get some identity established.
Totally agree. And VMI, look, they lost Seth Morgan, their starting quarterback, after just one attempt in their road win at Cornell last week. A young man named Colin Ironside came in and did pretty well for them. That's a really good name for a VMI football player, isn't it? Colin Ironside. He just sounds really tough. And he did quite well for them. And it's going to be a game time decision on who's going to start at quarterback. But, VMI, look, the short passing game, they ran the ball fairly well against Cornell. It's an air raid attack, but they're content if they're getting 5-6 yards a pop running the ball. They're content on doing that. And, so VMI is going to be a very tough test because they do a lot of things well on offense. They have a fairly decent defense. And look, this could be a game that if VMI can get out to an early lead, maybe Wofford starts to think, well, here we go again, just like it did against Kennesaw State. Now, don't mean to poo-poo the Terriers all that much. I mean, that was a 10-point game against Kennesaw in the third quarter. Wofford had their opportunity in that. But, I just think this game against VMI is key for Wofford. You've lost to Kennesaw, who's in the top 25. You beat a decent Elon squad in week 1. So, if you can get off to a good start in the conference, that schedule has a tendency to look less brutal as you continue to win. But like you said, Rob, if you can't beat VMI and, you're looking at 0-1 in the SoCon, the next thing you might be looking at 0-4 in the SoCon with who they have to play down the road.
All right, Kevin, let me get you on the record. We got Furman this weekend at home. We've got on the road the Wofford Terriers. Give me a score prediction for both games in a minute and a half or so.
I think that Furman beats Mercer at home, but it'll be close. I really like the Furman specialty teams. The field goal kicker is a difference maker, but Furman needs to be better in the red zone. They have to kick 4 field goals. You probably won't win. They need to be better inside the red zone, score touchdowns, not field goals. I think Furman wins something like 24-21. Over there in Lexington, Virginia, on the campus of VMI, that one's a little bit tougher to pick because I really don't know what to expect out of Wofford. The VMI is going to do what they do, and they're going to score points, and Wofford's going to have to try to keep up. I like VMI in that one, about 31-27.
There you have it. That is Kevin Marshall. He is the host of the FCS Nation radio broadcast. You can hear it at 9 a.m. right here on ESPN Upstate on Saturdays. Follow him on Twitter at FCS Nation Radio 1. Kevin, my dude, always good to talk to you, buddy. We will see you on Twitter, and we'll see you back here next Thursday to take a look ahead at week number 5.
Always appreciate you, Rob, and thanks to Kevin Thomas and everybody there who runs the show. It means a lot to us to be on in that market. Really appreciate y'all.
Happy to have you. Happy to have you. No better source for FCS ball than Kevin Marshall and FCS Nation Radio. Quick break. We are back to wrap up our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate.
71.
Keep up to date with every Upstate high school football game in real time with the ESPN Upstate score stream at ESPNUpstate.com. Set up a profile, create your feed, and follow your favorite teams. Know when the big plays happen and when the games go final. The ESPN Upstate score stream. Get all the high school football scores in one place at ESPNUpstate.com.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's
Actually, I just told you
housing
wrong. It's
market?
10 because Saturday morning scramble is on 8 to 10, then it comes on 10 to 11.
All right.
Rob Brown show, what do you want?
Nothing.
How many times has that happened in my lifetime? Picked the thing up and it hung up right when I picked it up. Ooh wee. I'm not going to put this on Twitter topics because it's too complicated to talk about, but the estate for Steve Ditko is discontinuing the copyright for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Saw that. So now
And-
Marvel has to sue
Yeah.
to hold the copyright.
Yeah.
Who do they sue? Like, or
His-
is it just
the
like in
estate.
general? Who?
The estate for
Oh,
Ditko.
the estate. Gotcha.
The lawsuit they got going now is they're suing Ditko and they're suing Stan Lee's estate.
Okay. God, Stan Lee. God. Ugh. But could you imagine Spider-Man going into the public domain? Be wild. I can't imagine Marvel doesn't get to hold on to them.
We'll see. They had to buy a whole other company just to get a hold of Spider-Man. I
Yeah.
still think that has a lot to do with
Yeah.
why they bought Fox. And we are a week away from Venom 2.
Yeah. Which I continue to grow more excited about.
And won't watch.
Shut up, Weiser.
Well, you'll be in Boston when it comes
I
out.
still haven't seen Shang-Chi, which is taking me off. I just have not had the opportunity.
You wait another month or so, it'll be on Disney Plus.
Yeah, no, I need to see it in theaters.
Well, because of bowling, I can't go see a movie on Thursday night unless I go see it after bowling,
Right.
which is always a possibility.
Get a 6-blade razor, prep scrub, shave butter, and post-shave dew for a noticeably smooth shave. Plus,
Maybe I'll go see Venom 2 next week, Thursday night, while wearing my new bowling shirt.
it's what dreams are shaved of. After the starter set, razors ship at a regular price.
Although it can't be incognito if you got, your name on the back of your shirt or the front of your shirt.
Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299. All on American.
Yeah, the spoiler time's way over, Steven.
Oh, no, I know. You guys can
But
talk
he still,
about it. It's on
he
me
still
now.
hasn't watched it yet.
It's on me.
I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow night, Steven.
I will be in Boston. All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Just a brief reminder, I will be out next week. I am headed up to Beantown and Connecticut and New York City for a week. I'll be doing 2 days in Boston, 2 days in Connecticut, 2 days in New York, and then one more day in Boston before I come back. Dan Scott, voice of the Furman Paladin, Speak of the Devils, will be on with you guys all week next week. My heartfelt thanks to Dan for being willing to undertake that and sit in for me over the next week. I know that when I return on Monday, I will have big shoes to fill in order to live up to the legend of Dan Scott. So you guys enjoy next week. Dan Alonzo will be in here with you. And then I will be back that next Monday to catch up on everything that we missed. So I do apologize in advance. If you would like to go along on the journey with me, You can follow me on Twitter at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown Show. I will be tweeting from various places, including Sunday night. Your boy will be live at Fenway Park watching the Red Sox take on the Yankees. Ew, the Yankees at Fenway Park. We're going to get to the hotel, grab a car, Lonzo, drive to downtown Boston, go to Fenway Park, watch the Yankees and the Sox. It's going to be a great week. I don't know how to say anything but those 12 words in a Boston accent. Outside of that, I'm lost.
Do it quite well. You really do.
Fenway Park.
There's my favorite golfer.
Take the cat to the pack. Not this weekend, Lonzo. Not allowed to like him this week.
I can't help it.
USA, man. USA.
He can still do well, and the USA can win.
Anyway, so I'll be out next week. If you want to follow me on Twitter at The Rob Brown Show, I'll be live tweeting throughout the trip. You can also follow me under the same name, The Rob Brown Show, on Instagram. Find me on Instagram at The Rob Brown Show. I've decided to make a push on being Instagram active, but I should say, I think I'm The Rob Brown Show on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm too old for Instagram.
I think that's, at The Rob Brown Show on Instagram. I'll be putting up pictures and whatnot from the trip.
What?
Anyway,
No TikTok?
no, because I'm 36 years old. Yeet. Follow me. I know exactly. That's why I'm not on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram at The Rob Brown Show, on Twitter at The Rob Brown Show. And we'll be tweeting throughout those events. And then I'll be back next Monday. But I ain't done, kids. We got an hour. Kevin Thomas joins us in the next segment to talk high school football. Then Lonzo and I will break down the Clemson and South Carolina games from the weekend, as well as give you some last thoughts on the football weekend, Twitter trending topics. And then I go away for a week. You're welcome. Back after this on The Rob Brown Show. One more hour, ESPN Upstate.
What it is, son? Come on in, pal.
Smoked it the first morning session. Smoked it. Great morning session. My man Bryson can't find a fairway to save his ass right now. Golly. Thank you, Steven. That's very kind of you, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. Today, no, it's four, but no, it's four ball in the mornings.
It's a different feel.
No, it's four ball in the morning, after alternating shots in the afternoon, and then Sunday is 12 singles matches. Was that whatever one you want? Doesn't matter. But
I mean, if you want to sit over there and hug while you do it, I mean, you go right ahead. Man.
Yeah, right. Hashtag content.
That's how he normally does it, but you know.
Wonder I don't get more in studio guests. Yeah. All right, JT.
It's not that buddy hug. It's that.
Oh no, I guess it is alternating shots. I guess this is four ball. I thought it was alternating shots then four ball.
I didn't get to watch.
Okay, so I was right then, because I thought. Did you see Spieth's shot off the hill? That was unreal. So I thought it was him, and then Justin Thomas missed the par putt. But the guy on the street, the guy on the text was like, no, that was his shot. And I was like, I swore they alternated, but that makes sense now. So this is four ball. Right. Oh, dude, everybody hitting the drive after him. Everybody hitting the shot after his drive is going to be furious. So far, so good. We had Kevin on. He's a good dude. He does. He knows his stuff. We had him on. We had Savannah on, our golf lady, in the first hour to talk Low Ryder Cup. That's all big, dude. This event is so good.
I love it.
Like, it's so good.
I love it. I mean, I'm watching football still Sunday. I have a lot of this.
Kevin. I'm gonna say, if you don't have enough TVs in your living room, you need to go fix that problem this week.
Don't let him TV shame you. He acts like everybody has that many TVs.
Listen, I do not hear the excuse of, well, I go to watch football. Then you don't have enough TVs. If you have to make up an excuse why you can't watch a thing, you don't have enough TVs. Okay, so, well, these two TVs are connected. They got to be on the same thing. And this is the actual stream from the Ryder Cup. Yeah. Get in. Let's go. Let's go. He said, you see a tweet? He said, I found my new ball marker, and he had his gold medal from the Olympics. That was good. Yeah, baby. Hour number 3, the third, the final, the best hour of the Rob Brown Show gets going now. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rob Brown, the great one, the pinnacle of professionalism. Lonzo is at the helm. And as we do every Friday at 2 o'clock, we welcome in our friends, or in this case, friend, from the Moving the Chains podcast, covering high school football across really the entire state of South Carolina. But we bring them on to talk a little upstate football. Kevin Thomas rolling solo, flying the solo mission today.
Yeah, John's on a remote actually at the Ryder Cup, so I figured out how to hold it down for us today.
He missed out on an interview on this show to go to the Ryder Cup.
Does he know what you've won?
I didn't tell you what happened, did I? Listen, you'll appreciate this. I think I told this story on air earlier this week. So I got a phone call last Sunday morning from my very dear friend Mike Ward, who lives down in Tampa. He's a realtor down there, but he works he works inside of a golf course, like you saw. Anyway, he calls me on Sunday and he goes, "What are you doing next weekend?" So I'm going to Boston. He goes, "Oh, you're going to be mad at me." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "The company has 4 corporate VIP passes to the Ryder Cup." And I'm like, "Oh, you're right. I am mad at you for going." He goes, No, not for going. He said, "I got one extra. I was going to give it to you." He goes, "No cost." He goes, "We got them for free." He goes, "We've got a ticket to the Ryder Cup. We've got a house that's stocked with everything in it, all corporate paid for." He goes, "All you got to do is fly up here and fly back, and you can just have everything. Show up, everything's yours." So I'm like, "Well, I can't really afford a plane ticket anyway. I'm going to Boston." I looked it up, dude. The flight's $200 to fly into Green Bay, and then it's like 45 minutes from there to Cole. So for a couple $100, I would have been at the Ryder Cup today, tomorrow, and Sunday, all expenses paid for, with a VIP pass that allows me up into the boxes and everything. I would just like to go on the record. And if you're listening, lady friend, I want you to know what this means, that I have elected to go with you. All right. I just want that on the record, that in dude terms, Kevin, this is like the second ultimate commitment you can make to a woman. The first one comes down the road.
It's a pretty big deal, yeah.
This one, to say, "Babe, I had a full 3-day VIP pass for free to the Ryder Cup, and I'm still going to Boston and New York with you." I mean,
that's got to earn you some brownie points, right?
It better.
If I may, if you point that out, those brownie points that you just
go right away.
Yeah. So especially.
Listening right now without realizing that everyone she knows is. So, it is what it is. I am an open book. Kevin joining us here on the Rob Brown Show from the Moving the Chains podcast. You can find them on Facebook at facebook.com/moving, no G, Moving the Chains SC, on Twitter and Instagram at Moving Chains, no G in that one either. And you can find their podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever your podcasts are found. Go back to week number 4, and let's just call it what it is. The Burns Rebels had their handful this past weekend.
Yeah, Burns, they got a lot of problems right now, Rob. I thought they would get beat last week. I really did. I didn't think it'd be a blowout because that offense has been good. But then against Gaffney putting up 15 points, it's kind of a disappointment there out of the Rebels offense. So they've got some work to do. They got a bye week tonight, so hopefully get some things worked out. But, part of it, they just need to get healthy. They've had some injuries at running back and whatnot, but they just didn't have anything for the Indians last Friday night.
45-14 your final. How about the quarterback for Gaffney? 10 of 16, and of those 10, 4 of them in the end zone. Listen, when you don't throw the ball enough, or a lot, I should say, when you don't throw the ball a lot, and you're that effective through the air, does that say more about what Gaffney is as an offense, or Burns falling apart as a defense?
I think it's the Burns defense. Look, 2 weeks ago, they gave up 60-something points in a loss. Before that, Dutch Fort scored 56 on them. So the defense is just not there right now for them, and Gaffney is just a machine right now.
Greenville High scored on the opening drive. A lot of confidence. Saw the Twitter post coming out. Looks like the boys from Greenville are ready. They don't find the end zone. They don't find the uprights again the rest of the game. Northwestern looked like Northwestern University against Greenville last weekend.
It was really odd, watching that game, Rob. You felt like Greenville had more talent. Like you saw the speed and whatnot outside. But I don't know if it was game planning or what it was. But that first drive, they literally did not throw a pass. Ran the option. They ran the power runs right down Northwestern's throat, drove down, scored. Then after that, they went away from it. And, they tried to throw the ball. Pro Franklin, a guy we like a lot, had no time. Pass blocking was awful, getting hit in the face all night long. They just didn't go back and commit to the run game like I thought they should. And Northwestern just became too much in the second half, scored, I think, 3 touchdowns in the second half to really pull away.
Yeah, look, we like Pro. Pro's because he's a good dude and he's a hell of a quarterback. I like Pro. Good kid and a hell of a quarterback. it can be, I know it can be tempting when you've got a guy with the mobility and the arm strength that he has to want to say, even if the passes aren't connected, we want to stick with that. But if you're Greenville High, if you're a fan, you got to be frustrated that you just dictated the first drive and then decided no more of that.
Especially in a game where their top receiver or one of their top 2 receivers was out due to COVID. You think they'd want to, maybe stick to the run game more. I don't know if that was a call because maybe, it's non-region play, want to work on some things, whatever it is. But yeah, it was a kind of an odd game to watch, see how that turned out for sure.
And you mentioned Dutch Fork with a big win over Burns earlier in the year. They put up another 56 spot over Greenwood. You put in your notes here, Dutch Fork might be the best high school football team in the state this year.
Yeah, and they've been that way for the past 5 years, and they're looking to do it again. Greenwood runs that triple option. They did exactly what they wanted to do in the first half. Had, I think, 18 minutes of possession. Actually, I think it was higher than that, 23 or something like that. Had scored twice. And they were down by 2 scores at half just because Dutch Fork scores so quick and so quickly on you. I don't know who's going to stop Dutch Fork. They faced every type of offense already this year, and that defense seems to keep getting better. The Silver Foxes are probably in line to win another state championship.
Let me ask you this question because I didn't get a tally last week. We've been kind of keeping track of the number of games that have been canceled or postponed due to COVID. First 2 weeks of the season, we were up over 21 games statewide pretty much every week. Has that stayed consistent?
It's actually going down. I think 2 weeks ago, the final total across the whole state was like 41.
Okay.
Last week, I think we were down in like the 23s. But this week, I think I've seen in the upstate, it's only been a couple, but across the whole state, it's like 7.
Sure.
So I don't know. I don't want to be a guy who's, conspiracy theorist here. I don't know if it's that coaches are not reporting as much.
Right.
Or maybe they're handling it different. Like, hey, we'll just send you home instead of shutting down the whole team. I don't know what's going on, but it seems to be getting better. And hopefully that's a trend we're going to see continue to go the right direction.
Here's a question you're not ready to answer, and I wasn't prepared to ask, but just because I'm curious, what would happen if it got found out that a coach didn't report a case to keep a game going?
Man, I would.
Let me rephrase
that.
To
forfeit, I guess, right? I would assume.
Well, I mean, if they got caught, I would assume so. But let's say they didn't and the game got played. And this is, I grew up with the FHSAA down in Florida, which we've talked about the differences. Like the FHSAA has, it seems, more centralized authority over every like the for instance, we talked about the overtime rules, right?
Yeah.
Or the playoff tiebreaker rules. Tiebreaker rules in FHSAA, they're statewide. Like every county, every district has the same tiebreaker rules. And in South Carolina, it almost seems like every district makes their own. Is like, do you think the South Carolina Association would bring a hammer down over that, I wonder?
I think they would have to. I mean, you got to have some kind of reprimand for that, or else you're opening a Pandora's box, obviously.
Right.
If you don't. So you'd almost have to go back and make them forfeit that game, I would think, really.
Yeah. All right, let's look ahead to week number 5. Speaking of Gaffney with that 45-15 win over Burns, they take on an undefeated Gray Collegiate this weekend, coming off of a 28-18 win over Ridgeview, but they were off last week. So they may have lost a little bit of momentum. This game's kind of interesting. A lot of offense on the table for this one.
Yeah, this is a game that I've really gotten the folks fired up with online this week. So Gray Collegiate is a 2A ball club. Gaffney's a 5A team. Usually you see those two match up there, you think that the 5A team is going to just run right over them. Well, that Ridgeview win 2 weeks ago, Rob, was over a 5A Ridgeview team who was number 5 in the state at that time. Gray Collegiate really handled them easily. That wasn't even – it was a 10-point game, but that was never in doubt. Gaffney, I've seen both of them play, probably one of the few people in the state who have both seen them play in person. If Gaffney does not play well, they will lose this game to a 2A team. KZ Adams for Gray Collegiate is one of the best players in the state. He's already got 766 yards and 10 touchdowns in 4 games this year. Probably the best back in the state. He plays both ways, plays corner, going to Georgia State next year. A really good player. Besides that, they've got the quarterback, Trey Robinson, the linebacker, Torrey Kelly, who are really good ball players for them. Gaffney's key to this game, obviously, they've got more depth because they're a 5A school. That's just to be assumed there. But if they stick to the run game, they can win this game. If they just start wearing them down with Smith and Littlejohn. But if they let the quarterback throw it too much, he's a good player, don't get me wrong. But if you start in and out, letting that team get off the field quickly, Gray will give them problems all night long.
We are looking at Dorman and Ridgeview as well. 1-2 Dorman, 2-1 Ridgeview. Dorman has been off the past 2 weeks, and you made a point in the notes to point out that not a team that you often see with a greater number on the right side of the record than the left, and they have really been trying to settle down on a quarterback, which it doesn't appear, at least from what I've seen, that they've been able to do yet. That makes this game a little more interesting.
Yeah, they're playing 3 guys for the first couple games. Last week, 2 weeks ago, they played 1 guy, luckily, the Tally kid. And I think they're kind of starting to settle on him a little bit. But they've got some playmakers around him. The Porter kid at receiver, Norman at receiver, Black at running back. And they've got a really good offensive line like they always do there. This is a big game for them because if you go into region play at 1-3, even though, these games don't technically count, it's just not a good look. It's not a good momentum builder for your team. Ridgeview was off last week due to COVID. They need to bounce back performance as well after that loss to Gray. They've got some guys that can give Dorman some problems. This is a game I'm interested to see how that goes down in Columbia.
A couple of other ones that we're keeping an eye on. Riverside is 5-0.
First time in school history. Rob.
Looking to get to 6. They are at Blue Ridge this week.
They should be 6-0 easily. We talked to the quarterback Rob Sanders with an interview this week. Check that out on our podcast there. But Riverside's a very good football team. They're going to cause some problems for that region this year. They are.
Hillcrest at Wren is up on Friday.
Yeah, a 3A, 5A matchup. Hillcrest needs to win this ball game just to kind of get some momentum going into region play. Wren started out 0-3. They've won a couple games now, but Hillcrest, they've got a good offense. If they can put it together, they should win this game by a couple scores.
Easily at Woodman is EJ Woodman trying to stay undefeated on the season. Not a lot of teams like that in that situation right now this deep in the season.
They snuck into the polls finally last week. I think at number 10 in the 5A spot there. Woodmont running that kind of wing T offense is tough to defend. They should get an easy win over easily.
Spartanburg at Dutch Fork. We've seen Dutch Fork pop up a handful of times. We've talked about them already a couple times. Spartanburg with a little challenge ahead of them.
Yeah, Dutch Fork has played a lot of upstate schools this year. Kind of, out of character for them, I guess, because with them being in the Midlands, they've played, I think, Greenwood and then obviously Burns. And they had a game scheduled with Gaffney that kind of fell through there. But then now they've got Spartanburg. Spartanburg can score some points with Raheem Jeter at quarterback. Can they stop Dutch Fork? No. So it's just probably a 3-score ball game.
Sure.
Least.
What's the if folks are looking for something to do on a Friday night, they get to pick one game. What's the one?
Go to Gaffney. Go to the reservation. I mean, for one, if you haven't seen that stadium, it is awesome, and that will be a whale of a ball game. I think Gray is going to win a 2A team. That's why everybody's pissed off at me, Rob. But we'll see what happens. I like the War Eagles over the Indians at home tonight.
Okay, I like it. I dig it. That is Kevin Thomas from the Moving the Chains podcast. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/movingthechainssc. By the way, and you just mentioned it, but you guys have gotten to the interview game this week, gotten to the journalism game a little bit.
Yeah, Riverside, making school history, talking to their quarterback, Rob Sanders, this week, a junior, really good player, really good kid. That's on our Facebook, YouTube page, also on our podcast, audio only version. Check that out. Listen to him. Got a couple more things coming in the next couple weeks with some coaches as well. So stay tuned for that stuff as well.
Absolutely. No better place for high school coverage than the Moving the Chains podcast. No G in it. All right. Moving the Chains SC on Facebook. They are at Moving Chains on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find their podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever your podcasts are found. They do weekly preview and wrap-up shows. And they join us every Friday here on the Rob Brown Show at 2:00. Good to see you, big dog.
Yeah, man.
Predictions on the Ryder Cup. Give me your thought.
USA, all the way.
All the way. Not even in question.
God,
I gotta get. Lonzo's a big Tommy Fleetwood guy because of the matching hair.
I see that.
And I'm trying to talk. I mean, you take one weekend off of the Fleetwood Love Fest.
Yeah.
In order to support the red, white, and blue.
I mean, usually I love John Rahm. This week, screw it.
Can't do it.
I don't want him.
Can't do it.
Can't turn my back on Hair Nation, man. Just can't do it.
Kevin, appreciate you, big fella. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Thanks, Rob.
There you go. That is Kevin Thomas. Again, Facebook.com/moving the chains. No G in that. At Moving Chains on Twitter and Instagram, and find their podcast wherever your podcasts are found. We're back after this. Lonzo and I start looking at X's and O's. Clemson taking on NC State. NC State dropping 45 on Furman last week, but Clemson not giving up a defensive touchdown yet this season. Can they score some offensive touchdowns, though? That's the question. We'll talk about that. South Carolina, what was it? Annoying screaming bird sound. Will it get played against Kentucky this weekend? I think so. All that more coming up on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Lonzo, this is ESPN Upstate. Sweet. Yeah, man. Always. From what I've seen, the high school fans are out here.
All of the circuits running. The Xfinity Series set to go on Saturday. The Cup Series with the South Point 400 in action on Sunday earlier in the week. The starting lineup was set using the qualifying metric as the 12 playoff drivers are slotted in the top 6 rows. Kyle Larson is set to start from the pole. He's going to be joined up there by Ryan Blaney. After that, William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, and Christopher Bell in rows 2 through 6, respectively. Kyle Larson is considered the favorite to win Sunday night. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Hi, this is Cole Bryson, play-by-play voice of the Burns Rebels. With the Rebels having a bye tonight, join me for live updates of all of the games across the Upstate, beginning at 7 p.m. on ESPN Upstate and on the Odyssey app.
Powered by your local Ingles market. 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Don't go through the fall months with that joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now. Regenerative solutions are here, bringing lasting relief from joint pain with no downtime, no surgery, no steroids. QC Kinetics uses natural biologic therapies that restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, shoulders, hips, and back. Patients here are raving about the results. Listen, you don't have to live with that chronic pain, and don't think surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics now. Learn about these exciting natural alternatives. Hey, you've heard football legend Emmitt Smith talk about QC. It's time to see what this is all about. Fall is the time to enjoy life to the fullest. Act now. Restorative, regenerative therapies are available here. And the in-office consultation.
Rob Brown Show, what do you want to talk about?
QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772.
Okay, what's your name?
Joint pain relief, 864-448-3772.
All right, hang on.
448-3772. 448-3772.
Borderlands Comics and Games has been upstate South Carolina's leader in comics and games for over 30 years. Borderlands has over 300,000 comics, graphic novels, games, toys, collectibles. Come check out the cool laid-back vibe. Borderlands Comics and Games is located at 1434 Lawrence Road, or check them out on Instagram and Facebook at Maker.
From Wisconsin. Oh, this is my friend that offered.
Yeah, that's why I said, It's a Tampa, Florida number. I can kind of guess.
Pieces together.
Yes. I'm not Batman, but you know,
The world's greatest detective. I'm Batman. Oh, you saw it. The folks who was it West Coast Wizards or whatever they're called, the folks that make D&D, announced earlier this week that they are making a Batman tabletop game where you play the different characters in the Batman universe and the DM is Batman.
there have been some similar things before,
Yeah.
With actually Batman figures and stuff, and I don't remember the name of the game because I've seen a couple years ago I saw some of that stuff on sale at Borderlands. So I was like, "What is this?"
All right, Bryson. Do something here, son.
False advertising.
No, it's not. He is a bad bowler. He had one good game. Would you say it was
151? Yeah.
I'm coming for Stone, man. You're gonna get 150. You're gonna break 150 by the end of next week.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do any bowling between now and then?
Probably not because I'm just too busy. Don't think I'm not tempted though. I am tempted. I've got to build this thing up so it stops being so sore and figure out why. Because the hole is not tight. I still think it's somehow I'm gripping. This is the first time I've had something actually for my hand before. So I
wonder if it's your grip, and I wonder if your grip, because you were pushing it left last week, weren't you? You were pushing almost everything left.
I was doing the same thing yesterday.
Because I told you, I was like, move right. So I wonder if because of your grip, you're like just getting too much push.
I'm getting no spin at all on this.
Which you bowl for spin.
Yeah, but I always had a little bit of spin. Just a little, just enough curve before it hits the head pin. The problem is now I had an abnormal amount of splits yesterday because if I'm to the left or the right of head pin, I got a good shot at it. Although I kept leaving the one all the way in the back and that's directly in front of the head pin. But I think I got one strike the whole night.
Yeah.
And that was in that first game, and it was in the 10th frame.
Right.
But I am not throwing as hard as I normally would. And I thought about that later.
Yeah.
Because I'm worried about breaking the ball.
Yeah.
And
That ball's not going to break.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it will, but it's going to be way down the road before that ball breaks. Oh, I totally forgot it's Friday. Fanboy Friday. No, we'll get James in and then we'll run it. No, Keegan, you did not. It's always in the last hour. But I have to take this phone call because it's going to make you all laugh despite aggravating me. All right, rolling on. It's the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. It's the phone call I've been waiting for. I remember how I told you guys in the last segment when we were talking Ryder Cup that I had an opportunity. Well, live from Wisconsin, and I use this definition, this word very loosely right now, friend James is on the phone, who I'm going to go ahead and call our Ryder Cup on-site reporter just because it makes me sound like I sent him and not like he had a free pass for me and I just couldn't go.
Yeah, that's what happened. You literally I sent you a message, a private message like, Rob, it's per gratis. You just have to say I'm in. Instead, I have to bring some other kid who's 24, FSU grad, who's not you, and he's going to be babysitting all the adults. That should have been you, buddy.
I would have. Go
ahead. I'm sorry, Rob.
No, I was just going to say I would have also probably required a babysitter. So maybe it's for the best.
Maybe, but we're going to be on the first tee 8:30 in the morning on Sunday. And they don't tee off until noon.
Yeah, I know. Tweak.
Eastern.
I know.
What
Tweak.
are you going to be doing, bud? Are you going to be having a great time?
I actually around that time I will be on my way to Fenway Park for Yankees Red Sox. So I'm not hurting. It's not here's the thing. I would feel real not thrilled if I didn't have a kick-ass weekend set up, right? But I'm going to get to see Yankees, not just a game at Fenway, but Yankees Sox. I'll be on my way. This would be so much worse if I was going to a wedding or something like that. At least I'm doing sports things.
You know what makes it better though? Tell your fans and your people listening over the millions of radio, how much would your round trip ticket have cost to go a week heads up?
I've already told the people. All right. It
was sub $200.
Yeah.
And he probably would have had a green light from his girl. It's for your job.
Oh, she'd have been mad. Listen, the reason she's a keeper, in that when she set up this trip, she's the one that's oh, by the way, I got us Yankees Red Sox tickets. And had I told her this and we weren't going, she'd have been yeah, you're an idiot. Go. Why aren't you there already? But like I said, at least we're going to a game at Fenway and potentially a Saints Patriots game in the daytime. I've got a good Sunday lined up as a sports fan. I just don't know why of all the Ryder Cups, this is the one that you're hey, free ticket, just show up. Thanks, buddy.
No worries. You'll have a great time. But again, let me remind you, this was free and it would have cost you nothing. And I know your trip did not cost you nothing. It cost you a little more than nothing, several.
I am aware. Thank you for repeatedly reminding me throughout the week. I appreciate it. I might have forgotten if it wasn't for you.
Not a worry. Do you want me to grab you something just out of curiosity?
Yeah, I want a hat.
At all.
I want a hat. I just want a hat from Whistling Straits.
I'm not going to do it, but I'll take a photo of the hat I buy and hey, here's your hat.
Were you you're there already, right?
No, I leave at 9 o'clock tonight. We're actually going to Chicago. Oh, no, it gets better. We're going to Chicago tonight, playing Cog Hill tomorrow. Probably doing 36, to be honest. And then we're going to drive to Kenosha and get there 10 o'clock at night and then crash and then be on the first tee by 8:30.
Not mad at it. Not mad at it. Well, listen, I hope you have a terrible time. I hope you stub your toe multiple times. I'd say I hope you hit your head on a car door, but I know you can't reach them. But I hope you have a good time anyway.
I appreciate it. So long as I don't pull a Jordan, I think I'll be good. And that's by almost falling into Lake Michigan.
Yeah, but dude, if you hit a shot like that in your lifetime, that's the moment you retire
That
from
was
golf.
Unreal. You know what? If you'd have just saluted the crowd and fell in, no one would have judged him.
No, if he
Yeah,
had jumped in, I would have appreciated it. Unbelievable shot.
You know
Well,
what's
dude,
funny?
look, have a great
The
time on
water
Sunday.
was
Do me a favor. Take some pictures, take some videos so we can put them up and show people. Because I don't think people understand that this Ryder Cup, especially with all the drunk Packers fans out there, I don't think people understand that this is every bit as much of a party as it is a golf event. So send some stuff I can share with the folks out there to give them a real look at what Championship Sunday is going to look like.
Yes, sir. G-rated. You got it.
Yeah, from you. Okay. Good to talk to you, big fella. Have a good time, and I hate you.
Yes, sir. Take it easy.
All right. Lonzo, what's the old saying? With friends like these, no big deal. Just calling me to let me know he's on the way to the Ryder
Yeah,
Cup
the
for
most
free.
disturbing thing about the call is that he called you sir multiple times.
Yeah, that's passive aggressiveness and nothing else.
Okay, all
And
right.
nothing
As-
else.
As long as it wasn't, endearment or
No, not
actually
at all.
respect.
No, not at all. Not at all. With friends like these. Hey, let's do it. You want to do like a 4-minute Fanboy Friday before, because I forgot that was supposed to be the segment. And also, if I didn't put him on the air, I'd never hear the end of it.
Or we could go ahead and go to break and then come back with it.
That's true. Well, let's do this.
I mean, it's whatever you
Let's
want
do
to
my
do.
favorite way to break down a game. 1 minute breakdown. The 1 minute drill. Lonzo, 1 minute, South Carolina, Kentucky.
South Carolina, it's going to depend on how well Luke Doty does in the running game. The running game is going to do really well. They're going to shut down Kentucky's defense with a lot of effort, a lot of savvy, and South Carolina comes away with the victory. I know it's less than a minute, but
That's okay. It is required to be under a minute, not required to be a full minute.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. I like South Carolina in this game. 5.5 point dogs coming in. I think they cover easily. I think they win the game outright, to tell you the truth. I feel the energy, the electricity out of South Carolina right now. We talked to you earlier. Barstool Sports put out a sport that said that South Carolina has the most annoying stadium in America because of that, quote, stupid screaming bird, end quote. Beamer puts out a tweet that says, what's the record for most times we've played the stupid screaming bird? Let's double it this weekend. They're bought in. Okay. They're bought in. And I know Georgia dismantled them, but of course they did. They're the second best team, maybe the best team in college football this year. Of course they did. But South Carolina fight. They stayed under the spread, which is what good and improving teams do in a spot like South Carolina. Kevin Harris makes his return. They run the ball well. Give me the Gamecocks to not just cover, but to win this game outright. Clemson's on the road at NC State. I'll go first in this one. I think it's a breakout game for Clemson. Okay? Because if it's not a breakout game for Clemson, then Clemson has come back to the pack, like in a massive way. And I just can't believe that they have. I can't believe that the Clemson Tigers that we have seen over the past handful of years have just suddenly and inexplicably regressed till the rest of the pack. It just has not happened. All right. So they have to have a breakout game. They are due for a breakout game. This is a personal game. Dabo does not like Dave Doeren. They have had their words in the past. He is going to have this offense, I think, as prepared as they have been all year. Lonzo, the Tigers don't just win this game. The Tigers don't just cover the 10.5 points. The Tigers win by 3 touchdowns on the road at NC State.
All right. I've had a change of heart about this. I think that because of the struggles of the last couple of weeks, confidence is going to exude from the other team. And we're going to see DJ continue to struggle. And unfortunately, we're going to see the running game for Clemson struggle. The defense still going to be strong, but Clemson's going to win, but not nearly by as much as you think.
No?
No.
10 point?
I don't know. I think I'm going to go less than that.
Less than 10.
And it doesn't matter how I picked earlier. I said I had a change of heart, but I'm not going to change my pick.
You can change your pick. You got to actually no. You picked NC State to be inside of 10.5.
Okay. So I didn't have a
you're
change of
saying,
heart. Picking Clemson to lose.
There are.
Yes.
There are. Who was it I saw on ESPN? Desmond Howard earlier today said he's got NC State as an upset pick over Clemson. A lot of people do. Look, this team will have an offensive breakout. When? I don't know. Here's what I do know. If it's later, it's already too late, okay? It needed to happen last week against Georgia Tech. If it is any later than this week, then they just do not have enough time to keep themselves up there for a chance to backdoor into the Final Four if there is some chaos in the top 6 or 7 teams, which I don't know if there will be or not. They got to have it. There's one guy that gets his guys ready into pressure situations like this one in the regular season. Staba. Clemson wins. Clemson wins by 14. I've got them covering the 10.5. Zoe says they don't. We will find out when we come back. Fanboy Friday, Lonzo and I talk about whatever we want to talk about, including, and I do have to mention this, they're coming out with a Super Mario Brothers animated movie. I'm in. Then they announce who will be the voice actor. And it's a guy I like, but not for this. And it's a weird pick. Talk to you about that when we come back. And then Twitter trending topics to wrap it up on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Lonzo, this is ESPN Upstate.
Come on, man. Who can't do a Mario voice? Anybody can do that.
But is he going to do it for the whole movie?
He can do it. Absolutely. He is an actor.
He is an actor. It's me, an actor. I just turned into Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. That was the voice I was doing.
Did. Perry the Platypus. Doofenshmirtz, one of the best villains of all time.
Love him.
There are actually times when you feel sorry for him.
Oh, there's a lot, like once an episode.
This feature is sponsored by Indeed. Odds are you're entering the free uptime, not losing more. With Indeed, you get the
Rob Brown Show, what do you want to talk about?
more hires than all other sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Post a job.
Okay, what's your name?
Your hire. Visit Indeed.com/.
All right, hold on.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Don't miss your chance to experience South Carolina's #1 haunted house, located in Piedmont off I-85, exit 35. Buy tickets now at madworldattractions.com. That's madworldattractions.com.
At Lowe's, we believe fashion and function should live together, especially when it comes to flooring. That's why we put together a showroom with the top stylish brands like Bruce Hardwood, SmartCore Luxury Vinyl, and Satori Tile, all known for their reliable durability. See everything our showroom has in store for you. Order now and get it installed with help from Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. Install available in-store only through independent contractors. See Lowe's.com for details and licensing. U.S. only.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is.
Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's upon the fun man versus train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a 1 million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA. The original Peloton bike offers more motivation.
Great job, team!
70% of members say they work out more now with Peloton than before. Get game-changing cardio at a new game-changing price. The original Peloton bike, now $400 less. Learn more at onepeloton.com.
Want to look like $1 million but only spend a handful of bucks? Upgrade the Dollar Shave Club with the Ultimate Shave Starter Set for only $5.
I think Rob got lost.
Shave butter and post-shave dew for a noticeably smooth shave. Plus free shipping. Razors can be expensive.
Shall I go look for him?
Dollar Shave Club. It's what dreams are shaved of. After the starter set, razors ship at a regular price. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/gojo. That's dollarshaveclub.com/gojo. Welcome to the club.
Bundling home and car insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? Look for the signs. Do they have a home and or car?
Can the hair putt? Needs this one.
Have they recently purchased a drone?
Pushed it. Oh, we got it.
But if you notice these other things, you may want to ask them how easy it was to bundle with Geico. Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
This is SportsCenter.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
I'm Doug Brown. The Cardinals and Cubs are just underway on ESPN in the first of a doubleheader today at Wrigley Field. The Cardinals are on a 12-game winning streak and hold a 4.5-game lead over the Phillies for the second National League wildcard spot. Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey will miss a few weeks after a sprained hamstring last night against the Texans. Steelers linebacker T.J. Watt says there's a chance he'll play Sunday against the Bengals. Watt is still recovering from a groin injury. Colts quarterback Carson Wentz got out on the practice field today. Wentz sprained both ankles in Sunday's game against the Titans. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
I mean, how do you sprain both ankles? Yeah, it's just.
I feel bad for him. I really do. Cause like, ouch.
It's like you sprain one and you try to compensate. I don't know.
That's rough, man.
Yeah.
When you hear the lightsabers crash, you know it is time for Fanboy Friday. The things that Lonzo and I talk about in our office off the air, we bring them to you, my fellow nerds, dorks, and friends around the upstate of South Carolina. A handful of things to get into today. Won't spend a ton of time on it, but announced earlier today there is an animated Super Mario Brothers movie coming out. And these movies are always fun to me, not because they're always good. But these types of animated movies, right? These are generation connectors because there's a whole new generation that's being introduced to Super Mario. And Mario has been popular in games his entire existence. The most recent, obviously, like Super Smash Brothers remains a hit for pretty much all ages, right? Because it's just a fun little goof-off fighting game. And Mario remains featured. So this is a generation connecting style movie. Then they announced the actors for this movie, and a lot of them interested. Jack Black is playing Bowser, which I think can be really fun. But they announced a guy that I actually really like as an actor, Chris Pratt, who I think was fun in a series of Jurassic Park movies that were not anywhere close to the original Jurassic Park. They're just fun popcorn monster films. He's phenomenal as Star-Lord. In fact, I think that honestly, outside of Robert Downey Jr., he's probably the next actor that I say he was the guy to play that. Nobody else could have been Peter Quill. But they announced that Chris Pratt will be the voice of Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I don't love, right? I don't love. And here's why. Mario's been popular, Alonzo, for 40 years, 50 years now, right?
Something like that, yeah.
And Mario has had a consistent voice for those 50 years. It's a me, a Mario. He's had a consistent voice for 50 years. And one of two things happens. Either Chris Pratt does Mario in a Chris Pratt voice, which doesn't do anything for me, or Chris Pratt does an impression of Mario, which why not just hire a voice actor or an Italian actor who's good at being Mario and call it a day? Look, I trust Chris Pratt to do a good animated movie because he was great as ever in the Lego movie series. Both of them. He was really good. I enjoyed those movies. He's been good in his live action stuff. I don't like this casting, Lonzo. I'm not a fan, even though I do love Chris Pratt as an actor.
Well, if you're gonna do something like this, an animated feature with a bunch of stars in it, you've got to have an equal in who plays the starring role. Do you have someone in mind who you would like to? I mean, because it has to be someone equal as far as in pop culture as all the other names that you named.
I don't have anybody off the top of my head, and I get what you're saying.
And you talk about Chris Pratt being in the Lego movies. I didn't know it was him.
And I guess that's where I'm going, right? Like, because you say, you've got all these other folks. Because you've got, let's see, Anya Taylor-Joy is going to be Princess Peach. Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia is going to be Luigi. I don't even really get that one. And I love Charlie Day. He's one of my favorite comedic actors in the game right now. Jack Black is Bowser. Keegan-Michael Key is Toad. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. I'm 100% in for that. Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong.
Does Donkey Kong even talk? Just kind of.
Yes, he does now. I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. I think I have more of a problem with Donkey Kong talking than I do.
Fine. Then let's go with. I just have questions about the casting for a movie. And here's why it matters. Because I've already had one of my friends be like, why do you care? The answer to why I care is because this is a property that's been around for 50 plus years. This is a property that is one of the few properties that genuinely connects generations, right? Like I can recall as a kid playing regular Nintendo, the original NES, playing the original Super Mario Brothers, and my mom playing that game with me, right? That's the only video game my mom, but I remember playing that and getting stuck on levels and being blown away that my mom was better at the original. Now I was like 4, but you get the point, right? It's a generation connect. If I had a kid, Super Mario would be something that I connect with them with because they're learning about this character that was a part of my childhood. It matters that they get it right. And to connect this to another story that's been going around on the social media, Daniel Craig said that he doesn't think that a woman should play James Bond, and everybody got up in arms, right? Let's cancel him. He thinks that. And what Daniel Craig actually said was that women should be empowered to have their own characters crafted that become as badass and as beloved as James Bond.
Which I completely agree with. Quit trying to change characters that are already there. Make someone equally as good for a female.
But it's not.
By the way, did you? It was a
real take on Mario.
It was
right?
weird. John as Luigi.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was one of those movies that was such a surreal take on the property that it was like an alternate universe. From what I understand, and I could be wrong, this is an animated movie made to look like Super Mario. It's not like, here's what happens if Super Mario isn't real and you did a bunch of drugs. It would be this. This is Super Mario as we know him in the blue overalls and the red hat, and Luigi as we know him. And you've just hired two. And again, I love Chris Pratt and I love.
Graphic for this movie.
No, I am. I disagree with you on that. Right? I disagree with you. A lot of times you use that argument.
Says the guy.
The same thing when you and I have had the debate about the Star Wars
prequels, yes.
right? And that they're not for you anymore, Rob. They're for the next generation. But no, I think if you want it, here's my argument. It's very similar to the argument that we had just a minute ago with James Bond being portrayed by a woman. I personally have no issue with James Bond being portrayed by a woman for one reason. In my mind, James Bond is not a person. It is a title handed down between people through MI6 for years, which is why you've had.
I would get 7 as James Bond is the name of a person.
James Bond. No, that is literally never said as a fact. Okay.
Okay.
Never said as a fact.
I don't know of any females named James, but they may be out there.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, do you change it to Janet Bond or Jamie Bond? It's Jamie Bond, right? Here's my thing. I don't have any issue with different takes, but this character, am I out of the demographic of an animated movie? Can we be honest? How much What If have we watched? How much of the Bad Batch? These are all animated things. I watch. This if it was let's say this was a spin on give me a new video game that the young kids are playing nowadays that is similar in property. I don't know because I'm not connected to it. I'm not in the demographic. But Super Mario Brothers.
Well, the Borderlands movie is coming out pretty soon.
But I'm talking about like a kid-themed game, right?
You mean
Animal
little
Crossing.
kid. Okay.
All right. They made an Animal Crossing movie. I'm not in the demographic. But Super Mario Brothers, dude, Super Mario Brothers was my demographic when it dropped on NES. That was my demographic. I am in the demographic.
It doesn't mean as much to me as it does to you because I'm a little bit older and I was never a big Nintendo guy.
Sure, I was. I grew up on NES. I grew up on Super. I grew up on Mario 1, 2, and 3. I am in the demographic for this particular project, which is why I would think you would want to stay a little more true. Because here's the thing. Unlike James Bond, where you've had all these different Bonds with all these different styles and dialects and accents, etc., right? Where James Bond has consistently changed throughout the years. Mario has been consistently Mario for 50 years. He's been Mario. It's me, I'm Mario. He's been that voice for 50. And now all of a sudden I'm going to hear him in Chris Pratt's voice.
You got Chris Pratt as an actor who can do the Mario voice. Did you have a problem with Arnett being the Lego Batman?
No, but Batman, much like has changed. He is a changing property years and years and years. Same as I didn't have a problem with Keaton or Kilmer or Clooney or any other the movies I had problems with, but not them as
Clooney,
the character,
yeah,
right?
Clooney was pretty bad.
Here's the thing. If this was live action, no, because the actor has to look different. But this is an animated movie made to look like the video games that we all enjoyed from NES through N64 to today. And now all of a sudden, I'm going to hear Chris Pratt as Andy Dwyer as Super Mario. Not going to do it for me. All right. It's just not going to work.
See, that's the thing. You hear his voice as something else and not as more. I am guessing.
There's only one Mario voice.
You won't know Chris Pratt.
Bet.
We'll see.
Bet. Even if it's Chris Pratt doing a Mario impression, you know,
I bet Chris Pratt does a killer
and even
Mario.
So, how is Charlie Day, known for being a high-pitched, screechy comedic actor, going to be Luigi, whose voice we know over 50 years?
I thought Luigi's voice was kind of a little bit high, but you know, again, not a huge fan of Mario. So
I make Charlie Day Waluigi, and it would be perfect.
Okay,
there's your decision.
Yeah, because he already looks like that.
Yeah. It'd be perfect. All right, your thoughts are welcome. 71307 is the Ingles Market text line. You can text in. Texture says, agreed, Rob. I am 36, and the OG Super Mario was in my wheelhouse. Yes, this is they may gear it to kids. This movie was made for it literally is for my demographic. Texture says, ESPN, the name's Bond, Julie Bond.
There's a Jenny Bond here to see you.
Jamie Bond?
Jenny.
I'm Bond. Jamie Bond. I'm here. Whatever.
No.
If
no.
she's kick ass, I mean, Atomic Blonde. Did you see Atomic Blonde?
No.
Atomic Blonde was a kick ass female movie about a female. I don't want to say super agent because she's not super powered, but just like a badass.
But the role.
Fine. With a James Bond woman, but that's because the character of James Bond is a changing character. Super Mario Brothers is not. Texas says, Panda says, Chris Pratt as Mario seems odd. Time to pull out the ancestry DNA results to see his percentage Italian blood. Texas says, I absolutely love Chris Pratt as Super Mario. And ESPN, don't let him disparage you. Fenway Park is legit. Yeah, I'm going to find out, man. I'm going to find out. I cannot wait. Texas says Christian McCaffrey injury will force the Panthers and Darnold in the offense to open up the offense and spread the ball around, which is good. Here's the thing. I'd like to believe that, but if they could do that, they would do that.
They kind of had to last night. They absolutely had. They did open it up. You saw some passes go to some guys that you hadn't seen. That's what we were talking about earlier. Some guys that.
I also don't want you to forget the Texans are bad. Okay. And here's what I said on the Sunday show.
Don't crutch. You take that crutch away, he's going to grow as a quarterback. I hate that McCaffrey's out, but we're going to see what Darnold's really made because he can no
Panthers fans. All right. And I've told you, I want you all to do good because it makes me money. Don't get cocky. Okay? Don't get cocky. You beat a bad Jets team in week 1. You beat a Saints team that's good. Well, might be good, but they had the deck stacked against them heavy in week 2. And you beat a bad Texans team in week 3. You have just lost a predominant defender in J.C. Horn. You have just lost. Don't try to tell me, oh, we'll be fine without McCaffrey. He's the number 1 running back in the. Y'all told me he's the best running back in the league. You're telling me the offense is just going to be A-okay without the best running back in the league? Miss me. Don't get cocky. A lot of football left. Very brief Twitter trending topics before I take off for vacation. That's next on ESPN Upstate. I intended for that segment to end 4 minutes ago, but I was very passionate about Mario. David says, love you guys. Listen to you every day while delivering Chick-fil-A. David, thanks, man. I appreciate you stopping by to let us know. Thanks for checking out the stream. Thanks for those comments. That's very nice of you. We appreciate that. Between you and my mom, that's like 4 people listening now.
Yay!
And Keegan, that's 5. And Miss Lisa, that's 6. We're growing by exponents. Exponents.
Join ESPN Upstate this Sunday at 8 a.m. for I'm Listening, a live 2-hour show featuring some of the biggest names in music and sports and insight from some of the most respected mental health professionals as we strive to destigmatize talking about mental health, including Wolfgang Van Halen.
My laptop and that piece of metal that's very strangely.
Is Crystal here?
I don't know.
Ian Poulter walking off the 18th after his match this morning, looking at the rowdy American crowd, said, quote, and they've only been drinking an hour. Imagine what it's going to be like this afternoon. Zoe is getting the finesse down from over there.
Yeah, it was close.
Did it go in?
Yeah, it went in.
Went in.
You saw it go in. I mean, come on.
Learn about these exciting natural alternatives. Hey, you've heard football legend Emmitt Smith talk about QC. It's time to see what this is all about. Fall is the time to enjoy life to the fullest. Act now. Restorative, regenerative therapies are available here. And the in-office consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics at 864-448-3772. Non-surgical joint pain relief. 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. That's 448-3772. The greatest of all time, the GOAT. Most of the time this comes up when speaking about sports, but let's talk about your future wife. She is the GOAT in your eyes, and when it's time to make her your wife and tell her you truly love her, Skatels will be there to guide you through your ring buying journey. Free customization, financing, and a lifetime warranty are all part of the Skatels experience, one you truly will appreciate. Start your engagement ring journey at SkatelsJewelers.com.
At Ingles, we're proud to partner with USC Upstate Athletics to bring you the very best in Spartan sports. And we're also proud to bring so many great game day options to the green and white faithful, like the best meat in town, crisp fresh produce, ice cold beverages, and more. Whether you're loading up for that road trip or preparing for the homestand, we've got you covered. Ingles, a proud sponsor of the USC Upstate Spartans.
ESPN Upstate is your home for Vernon Paladins football. The Paladins host the Mercer Bears in the Southern Conference opener tomorrow. Pre-game at 12:30, kickoff at 2. Every game on ESPN Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app.
Microban 24 protects against Staphylococcus aureus and Enterobacter aerogenes bacteria. It does not provide 24-hour protection against viruses. Every time you touch a surface, you leave behind bacteria. Use Microban 24 sanitizing spray to keep surfaces sanitized all day. Spray on hard surfaces to kill 99.9% of bacteria and viruses initially, including the virus that causes COVID-19. Microban 24 keeps killing bacteria for 24 hours, touch after touch. When used as directed, Microban 24, touch after touch, it doesn't give up.
Hey, we get it. You don't want to be hearing a Progressive commercial right now, so let us tell you something you do want to hear. You are powerful. You're a warrior who bathes in your enemy's tears. Then you step out of that refreshing tear bath and into a bathrobe that somehow looks good on you. Yeah, you can pull off a robe. There. Don't you feel better? You'll also feel better when you save money for driving safely.
Do people not wear robes? Robes are amazing.
The people don't really wear robes.
Robes are incredible, and anybody who is not wearing a robe is denying themselves one of life's great pleasures.
I do have a robe, but I rarely wear it.
Oh, dude.
I will wear it more when it gets colder outside. So
Yeah.
if I'm going to get in the hot tub and I need something to walk the 3 feet to the door, I will use it then. But I think robes are kind of.
Call me by an old man's name that I can't.
Yeah, but you have like
Call me Earl.
Diesel. Do you wear a robe? Okay, all right. I don't know.
I am not alone.
I didn't buy it for myself. I actually bought it for me because I was never a robe guy.
No man ever buys his first robe. You are given a
never a
robe,
robe
and
guy.
it changes your life.
Dang, this is not
Yep. And not only robe, I have 2 robes. I have one like nice, comfortable linen robe, and then I have a heavy flannel robe for when it's cold.
Mine's like that heavy, like bath towel
Yes.
material.
No one is given, or everyone is given their robe, and it's life changing.
Oh, the conversations that happen off the air.
No man ever wakes up and goes, "I'm a robe guy." You are given a robe, and it changes your life.
Yeah, the robe for me is it's for hot tub, but that's it. I just don't. So, do you wear anything under your robe?
Why you got to make it weird, Lonzo?
I'm curious. So,
wearing a pair of joggers.
Pervert is curious. If they really go to the robe.
Okay, robes just don't make sense because I'm back in the day. If you had maybe you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am out next week. The great Dan Scott will be filling in for me. Y'all follow me on Instagram at The Rob Brown Show, on Twitter at The Rob Brown Show. I'll be tweeting throughout the trip. Take care of Dan. Be nice. He's a good guy, and I appreciate him filling in. To y'all, thank you so much for listening. It means the world to me. I genuinely appreciate it. Lonzo and I are out. Mark Ryan and Diesel are in. We'll see you back here in a week and a couple of days on The Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother. Now, haircut. Go hit some balls.
Sports Center. I'm Doug Brown. Down to the last 10 days of baseball's regular season. Right now on ESPN, Cardinals and Cubs are scoreless in the third. That's the first of a doubleheader and the first of a tripleheader on ESPN at 7 Eastern. Yankees and Red Sox in Boston, followed by the Braves and Padres in San Diego. The Rams host the Buccaneers on Sunday. Both teams 2-0.